Welcome back to Absolutely. My name's Hassan. It feels really good to say that again, guys. This is going to be really different as far as content's concerned on this channel. It's going to be a recording of a live stream we filmed just a couple weeks ago to honor Benny. It's me, Sal, Dan, Ben's brother Andy, just kind of sharing stories, catching up with you guys, with the audience on things that we've been watching, like The Boys. This is before the finale aired. You do have a finale video with me and Andy coming up very, very soon that's already been filmed. But this is just us catching up. We talk through a bunch of topics, comic books, all these things. If you give us a little time to get the groove of it by the middle of the video, we're just laughing and sharing stories about the wonderful man Benny Potter was. And I know you guys all loved him, and he meant so much to you as much as he meant to us. So this video is just to honor him. Super long. I think you'll really enjoy it. Let's just jump right into it. Modern age. It's happening right before your eyes.
I hate it.
Yep.
so much.
We are live.
Yeah.
I already don't know what to say.
I know. Welcome.
Well,
we got a vamp first.
shows up. Yeah, we have the vamp.
This is true.
Look, Andy, if you feel miserable being on the internet, on your corner of the internet, imagine having to watch TikToks. Like,
Yeah, that's
that
fair.
being a
That's
part of
fair.
your
I'll give it
life.
to you.
Yes.
I'll give it to you.
Miserable endeavor that has been for me.
Wait,
pays many
watching
bills.
TikToks is or
Watch-
making them?
Yeah, you have to do both.
Yes.
You have to,
I see.
You have
Okay.
to watch them.
Did you
to
call
me.
them tip tops?
Yeah,
I,
they're
I might have. To be honest. I know what they
watching
are.
the
Obviously, they're TikToks. I get that.
Yeah.
But I might have misspoke. There.
I prefer tip
I'm on the
tops.
TikToks with the kids.
I'm on the tip tops. That's what that means.
I'm
right?
on the
They're really
tippity
exciting
tip
and
toppities.
yeah.
Dan, did we tweet out about this?
Oh hell
No.
no. There's
Okay.
no promotion.
I'm gonna.
I-
on my Twitter about
The
it. If anybody wants to retweet
Comicstorian,
it.
yeah, the Comicstorian socials haven't really done anything
Do we
since
want
the announcement,
Well,
and I
we-
haven't really felt comfortable doing it. I mean, it has
yeah.
just been a lot for me to
Yeah.
do this stream, so
For sure.
Yeah.
Very
Yeah,
valid.
yeah.
Very valid. Well, I will tweet something. Comicstorian fans, check my Twitter if you want to send it to people you know would love to watch this. This is a little back to business, but maybe not the new regular live stream for us. We're gonna sit here, chat, talk about things, talk about Ben, and we'll see how we feel at the end of it. But kind of live in this like it's the last one we do, and let's rock
Yeah.
together because it's lovely to see all your beautiful names in the chat again. And now I will tweet something.
Yeah.
I thought you were like narrating
It's-
it while you were.
That would be a
like,
I
great.
mean, hey, I'm okay
right?
with that.
Beautiful.
I'm okay with that.
yeah.
One of you write that down and text it to me.
Just
and
gonna
then-
send it back. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Can I point out? Ben's office is incredibly warm.
Yeah.
Oh.
I'm just gonna say that right now.
Mhm.
Yeah, it makes sense. He was
Like-
always sweating, and then he was always wearing a hoodie.
He was
Well,
always
yeah,
sweating.
yeah.
That had nothing to do with the computers though.
Yeah,
That
it's
was
just he was always sweating. What is up with
just-
that?
yeah.
It's
He
really
cracked
weird.
me up because every time I saw him, he'd qualify why he was wearing a hoodie, and I was like, "Dude, this is just your thing. I get it." And he's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, I was like,
but
he
I got
just-
this thing, and I wear like a graphic T-shirt underneath.
Well, it's funny because his house is incredibly cold,
Mhm.
but his office is incredibly warm. It's
I'm
really
pretty
weird.
sure I'm pretty sure the vent in there is probably closed.
I think it's
And knowing him, he had no idea.
yeah.
Right.
I probably just
if
thought
I open that, do you think it'll fuck with the? With
No,
the,
do
go
it.
for it.
I don't know.
Okay,
I
hold
think
on.
it,
Do it,
I think
man.
yeah. Go.
Also, can I curse on this?
Yeah.
should
Yeah,
have
yeah,
asked
yeah,
that.
we-
Okay,
yeah,
cool.
yeah, you're fine.
We don't go crazy on it.
It's like no, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's fine. I'll try to. I'll
Andy,
dial it back.
yeah,
I'll
you
dial
know-
it back. Yeah.
Our normal stuff. You're
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
Yeah. What Dan means is not what I do. Somewhere in between.
Yeah.
It's the
'Cause I'm not editing, and I'm like, yeah, no, go.
Yeah, dude.
Please.
Do whatever you want.
It's
Yeah,
the
I don't
classic.
edit the
Yes,
show.
you can swear, but the on-camera swearing, not the. You're just gonna say whatever the fuck you
No,
want.
yeah, no. I got that.
as though behind closed doors we say really messed
Yeah, I
up
was gonna
stuff.
say.
I
you
mean,
think it's-
yeah.
well,
Yeah, we
I
mean,
mean,
Andy, I mean,
I do
ultra
say.
cursing.
I would say like my jokes themselves aren't like inappropriate, but they're dark. Is generally what it is.
Yeah. Let's lighten.
yes,
it
they
a
are.
little.
And
Yeah. It's not like I'm not. I'll just we'll stay with
we don't
that.
need,
Yeah,
we don't
yeah.
need
Right,
an example.
right,
We don't
yeah,
need
yeah.
any examples. It's
I want no. I'm
Uh,
gonna say an example.
Jeez.
Ugh.
Oh
Hi
my-
everybody
Yeah.
who's saying hi to me.
Hello.
yes, hello everybody.
Hey, everybody who recognizes me.
Yeah, I was gonna
on the
say, I know.
street
I don't want to
today.
like ignore everybody. is
Who
the
watched
thing.
Comic
Like
Experiment?
several people have
That's
said
my
hi to
show.
me.
And thank you for all those subs and resubs, guys. We really appreciate it. Holy crap!
That's true.
Very much.
Man, we missed you guys.
Yeah. Right. Man, has it been for at least Hassan? But Dan, you've bombed in on you have run this show since its inception, at least from the back end, and certainly on camera until we launch. But like, how have your Mondays been? Like, what have you been filling your time with now that you haven't spent 3 hours in the morning just doing this?
Dude, I mean, I couldn't tell you how long it's been if I didn't have a calendar, because the days have all just blended together to the point that I genuinely, there are times where I'm like, okay, I need to do this thing. Okay, well, we did this last week. And then I look at it and it was 3 weeks ago. And I'm like, how the did time move like that?
Whoa, Dan, drop an F-bomb.
I know.
Dan, you just said we couldn't do that. That's
You
fucking
just said we
crazy.
can't curse.
What people know is he sent me a text message telling me to stop swearing.
Wow. Yeah. Just a quiet, like, Andy, we're going to talk after.
We're only
Yeah.
only allowed so many, and I need my higher quota today.
If we were only allowed so many, then we're screwed. Because
Oh my God. Yeah, I would not be able to
good
keep
at
track.
that.
That would not be good. Yeah. Yeah.
All right, everybody, we get 7.
Right? That
Wear
might be
counter
worse.
in the chat. Point it
That
out
might be
to us
worse
every
than
time.
no cursing. Is just
Yeah,
having
if
a
you had
count.
like an actual tally.
Because we're all sitting here like, fuck.
What number was that? Do
Ah,
I have the same number as you? I have 4.
Who's got it? Who's got 5? It's like fucking playing Uno.
Yeah,
Go
yeah.
fish.
Yeah.
Several
That's
games.
not how
at
you
once.
play Uno.
Oh
That's
wow.
just so weird.
You're
Yeah,
telling
that
a
one.
brown person how to play Uno? You don't know my ethnicity. Come on.
No,
Andy.
but you don't say go fish. That's what I'm saying.
In my
there's no
country,
fish
we
in
do.
Uno.
In my country.
Well, then you're
All
playing it
that's fair.
wrong.
I'm from Alabama.
So in his country, they do.
In my country.
Here in
Which
the
country
deep
is that?
South, siblings are
America.
fair game, and Uno is played like go fish. Okay.
That's fair. It's a little bit more than I needed to know about you. But all right.
Man.
How's your wife / cousin?
Look, my wife, my girlfriend's white. You can't make that allegation. There's no way.
I don't know
to
your
do it.
girlfriend.
Wow, wow,
met-
Andy.
We've met twice.
That's crazy. I've worked here for 3 years.
Yeah, we met twice.
God damn it, we have met only twice. It's funny because you were the funnier brother.
Agreed.
Yeah, you were the one
100%.
who I religiously watched Comics Experiment more than I fell out of main story videos first, and then I still really enjoyed Comics Experiment. Then I was hired. Now I can't listen to fucking any of that shit because I can't hear Benny's voice in anything other than this context, and then phone calls when he's yelling at me about the most random things. But I was like, Sandy guy, where'd they find him? He knows what he's doing.
What a
That's
sensible
what
man.
he's doing.
Yeah. Turns out he was family and
Yeah.
whatever. Chat, what's been on TV that you've been really wanting us to talk about? Anything that I see that I have watched, I'll give you like a 1-sentence review of.
Yeah. Not watching any TV. I don't know about you guys, but
House of the Dragon.
I've been
And
watching
The
that, although
Boys.
I am behind. I've
been
not watched
watching
any of the boys, actually.
Any of the whole show? Or
No,
just,
new season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's you know what? It's probably better on the binge. I think that this has been the weakest season of
Really?
The Boys
Okay.
in some time. I think that there's some standout moments, but a lot of they obviously write the show for shock value more than for plot. But I felt like there was a balance, and in this season they've thrown the balance and decorum on a show like The Boys seems like a silly statement, but feels like the decorum's kind of gone
It's
out
just
the
all
window.
about
That's
the
a
shock
shame.
value. Yeah.
Dude. Yeah, it's
Well, the comic was very much about the
that,
shock.
that's all it was.
Yeah,
There's-
it was
there's a
like I've read the
loosest
comic, and
story.
the comic is just not good.
The comic
No.
is like a nightmare. It's a horrible, horrible piece of media. Frankly.
Yeah,
which is
Yeah.
Not a
sorry to
fan.
any of the Boys fans in the chat, but that comic book is disgusting and horrible.
No, yeah. I just saw a thing yesterday. I think it was on the Tip Tops, where somebody mentioned in the comments of a Boys video where they were like, "It's relatively recent that people are saying that the Boys comic sucks," and I'm like, no.
I don't
When
think
that book launched.
Yeah, I was
people
just
were
saying, I
like,
don't think I've
"This
ever heard anybody say it was good.
I know some people, and I think they all work for Dynamite. But
Sure.
I think that when it comes to the book, people recognize I see what you're doing, you know. But you could Ennis's his bias was showing in a big way, and he went from I'm gonna really. I remember him saying he was like, I'm gonna out preach your preacher with the boys, and I'm like, what does that mean? You're gonna is it gonna be more American than what you're trying for preacher to be, or is it gonna be more religious? And it's like, no, it's gonna be gross.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just-
it's a
Just
rough one.
awful.
Yeah.
It's a rough one. But I'll say that Eric Kripke has made the show significantly better. I mean, it's like a cultural phenomenon. Everybody talks about the Boys.
Everybody's
right
talking about
now,
the boys. Yeah.
which is very cool and very exciting. But yeah, there's one episode this season that I specifically hate. I liked a lot of the other stuff, but I think it's episode 6 of the season, and I was like, that is the worst episode of the show, and I didn't like it at all.
Like in terms of like what? Like the
in,
writing,
like,
the acting, the plot?
writing,
Okay.
writing, the plot, the like. They trivialize like a couple of very horrible like sexual related things that like this
okay.
show has been very tactful. Only like the villain characters are like sexual assault.
Yeah,
That's funny. Like the Deep can do that, but the heroes seem to be doing that in this episode, and that it really like throws me for a loop. And this season's like kind of just like it's like an abuse season for Huey. The whole plot is that, which is like. I like Huey, man.
Yeah,
I guess he's winning in real life because the actor is now dating the actor who plays Victoria Newman. So Jack Quaid is with her, and they're beautiful together. Like she made him more handsome. They've just been strutting around, but yeah, it's something. And then I'm watching House of the Dragon as well. I think that's all and I'm not watching My Adventures of Superman yet. I will catch up.
I haven't watched
good things.
I haven't watched the new season yet. Yeah, I watched the first season.
Yeah. We'll pick up on it though. I saw something about like maybe a new costume or something in that show.
Yes, there is a new costume.
I could pick that up. I saw some people being upset about that.
I'm just gonna Google it.
Yeah,
in the boys.
Yeah, you might as well. No, in the My Adventures.
Our creator. Thank God Benny didn't have to suffer through what the fuck Doctor Who ended up becoming because this season was hot garbage, dude. It could not pick a tone. It was like, we're a little kid show. And then randomly towards the end of the episode, it's like, I'm the doctor and I'm going to set the record straight and this is bad and blah, 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 blah. And it's like, it was really silly. There was an episode with talking babies in it as the central plot line. And it was one of 2 episodes of talking babies in it. Wasn't about it. That was my take on that. I don't think I'll be picking it up. I really was when I was a kid, but it might have been because I was a kid. And I think that's how I'm starting to feel.
I've tried to watch Doctor Who. It is way too British for me. I can't.
It's domestically British.
That is so true. That is. Yeah.
I think I watched like 1 or 2 episodes. I don't even remember what Doctor it was, to be honest with you.
Right.
But
they're all the same.
Yeah.
I think it was the Doctor Who.
Yeah, thank you.
It was the Doctor Who.
No, Dan, I know that no matter what, they're called the Doctor, but there's different versions of it. See, I know that, Dan.
Yeah. Is it the woman doctor, the black doctor?
No,
the other 13 white guys that played.
It was one of the white guys.
Was he old? Was he young? Was he?
It wasn't David Tennant. I know it was the one before David Tennant.
Matt Smith.
No, Eccleston was before Tennant. And he wore
that name sounds familiar.
He wore a black leather jacket and he had a widow's peak. And that's like the only way to describe it.
Yeah.
I never watched. I watched that run like maybe a couple episodes of it. Even as a kid, I was like, this guy's a bit much.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan.
I've heard David Tennant is very good, but I haven't seen any of his. And I like him as an actor.
Yeah. Right. Oh, he's so talented.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Great.
And then some folks asked if we watched The Bear. I watched The Bear this season. Anybody else?
Nah.
Never seen it.
Really?
Yeah.
Good TV. Very good TV.
I've heard good things.
Yeah.
It's if you're into like a show that's a little artsy fartsy, like it's a little like camera cinematography kind of overindulgent, but the core plot really, really, really good. I thought about Benny a lot when I watched it actually, because my girlfriend was watching seasons 1 and 2 for the first time, so I was rewatching it with her. And there's like a lot of character relationships. There's like a character who had passed away like before the pilot, but they like show flashback episodes of him, and he's like the most charismatic, loud guy in a room. And 9 out of 10 times he's usually fucking wrong about something. And I was like, I know that guy. Played by John Bernthal, by the way, which is like,
oh, nice.
Oh, okay.
That's
pretty yeah.
But it's phenomenal. I don't like the 3rd season as much as the first 2, but it's still great TV for anybody that's looking to pick something up. It is the worst season of the Bear. Yeah, Griff said it in the chat. Yeah, it is.
Worst season of the Bear, but it's still good. Yeah, it seems to be what everybody's kind of saying.
Interesting.
Good. And then I watched Demon Slayer for the anime people. Dan, are you keeping up Demon Slayer?
I actually am somewhat caught up on sub, which is crazy. And that's because I was that bored. And I have been seeing that.
Wait. Do you not like Demon Slayer?
I don't like sub.
He doesn't.
I usually wait for dub
I
anime.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Oh,
okay.
I get it.
Okay.
The current.
I was going to say
because
Demon Slayer seems like a Dan show.
Oh yeah, no, it's a great show.
So good.
Fantastic show.
Yeah.
It is amazing. But for some reason, it's not like the other anime where like the dub is 2 weeks behind. For some reason, with Demon Slayer,
it's significantly behind now.
Many months behind. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna watch the Hashira training because I want to see where all these clips are coming from.
Because they're spoiling it.
They're spoiling exactly, and so I don't have a choice.
You have to
get back on Titan.
More than any other show, Demon Slayer has been like they ended the arc and then the next arc is called the Infinity Castle, and it's going to be 3 movies, and that's how they're wrapping up the show. People
Okay.
are spoiling the ending of the show in every single post they do.
Mhm.
They like are character becomes blank, 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 and how it happened. I was like, this is the title of the fucking video. The title is a spoiler of something that hasn't aired yet. It's like,
Ugh.
it's infuriating actually, but
Yeah.
Mhm.
music is fire. And the last episode, have you gotten to the last episode?
So the last episode I saw, I don't think I've seen the most recent one. I saw the one where Muzan shows up and does the walk for 10 minutes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, you got 1 episode left, and that's the end of the season, and then 3 movies.
Yeah, I
Fun
had a
point.
feeling I was close to seeing the whole thing, but it
Yeah.
wasn't all out at the time.
They play like what is going to be the Infinity Castle arc theme, and it's so good for no reason. It's like under a lot of memes on TikTok now. But you're in for a great episode, and get Dan.
Yeah.
Dan's a dub only guy, which
I
is
am.
fine. And I actually like I'm a big fan of the dubs for a lot of shows. There's one show that I love with my whole heart and soul. It's called Mushoku Tensei, and it has the singular worst goddamn dub I've ever fucking listened to in my life. It's like a grown woman and like doing a little kid voice, but not in the way like they did it in Dragon Ball where they kind of sound like kids. She sounds like a little fucking girl, and it drives me insane because it's my favorite character. He's like, I'm Rudius. Hi, everybody. It sounds like the
Oof.
Avatar, the Last Airbender episode where a woman plays Aang in like a stage
Oh
play.
yeah.
Yeah.
The Ember Island
Dragon.
players. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm. It's infuriating. But other than that, I'm a dub guy. Croc Block in the chat. What's up, Croc? Good to see you, man. Good
Benny
old...
and I were the dub degenerates after all.
Yeah.
Dub degenerates. I mean, to be fair, I watch of the few anime I watch, I do prefer the dub, so I don't have to read.
Exactly.
To be honest with you.
Same.
It's so you can like do other things. It's so
Yeah,
that
yeah,
you can
yeah.
like get distracted for a second, not turn back and be completely lost. Like
See, for me, it's so I can focus on what's actually happening on the screen.
Exactly,
Because, like,
yeah,
I
yeah,
feel
yeah.
like
yeah, thank
Yeah.
you.
I agree. Anime for me is like I always watch episodes twice. Like I'll always like for anime, it comes out so sparingly that by the time a new season's airing, I will have always watched it more than once. And if there's a scene I really like, you're gonna see it on TikTok anyways. But I'm
Yeah.
probably gonna like replay
TikTok.
a cool fight. Yeah, on TikTok. You get really, really used to like reading it as you're going, and it feels like less of a chore. And then on the thing of like you can do other things. This is specifically the one piece of media where I'm like, I'm gone.
You gotta,
only
you
watching-
gotta be watching. Yeah.
yeah, I'm not on my phone. I'm
To
not.
be
it's
fair,
like,
that's usually how I am. I always used to say that about Ben because he'd be like, "I'm watching a thing. I'm playing a video game.
I'm watching it.
recording
I'm
a
on
video.
yeah.
I got my phone out, and I'm like, I don't know how you do that. To be honest,
Right?
With you. Like,
Yeah, and I would definitely accuse him of not being like you. He's like, I got it, and it's like, you
yeah,
don't
yeah.
got
Then
it.
he'd be like super confused about stuff.
Right. Then he's like, why isn't this happening? And I'm
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
well, maybe if you were watching the show.
That happened.
It was
so
like
many times.
somehow he could forget things like that, but then at
But he
the
was
same
also
time,
on top of it. Yeah.
yeah, like it was.
Yeah.
he
it
was on top of.
almost impressive.
It's very impressive how functionally incompetent Benny Potter was. Most functional man I'd ever
That's a
known.
good way to say it.
But-
Functionally incompetent. I like that.
Simultaneously, there's this
Yeah.
episode of Young Justice, and it's like when I was still a guest. It's before I was like part of the crew, and we're watching this episode, and it's about like Black Manta, and then Calder's adopted
Oh,
dad,
yeah.
and this whole thing. And Benny's like, "It's crazy to let Black Manta out of prison." I was like, "No, the fuck they didn't. What are you talking about?" He goes, "That was literally his dad swimming around." I was like, "That's a different black guy, yeah, underwater, I guess." Like,
I guess that's a different issue that we
Yeah.
probably shouldn't go into
Oh,
right now
no.
with Ben. No,
he just wasn't. He was watching it.
yeah, but he wasn't really watching it.
No.
yeah.
Exactly.
Guy's name was like Calvin Durham, and it like says it in giant letters in the caption. And I know Benny keeps captions on when he watches shit.
Yep.
Yeah.
But, oh my god, there's so many of that. So much.
Mhm.
Yep. Shady's just remembered when Ben forgot to watch half the episode of Superman and Lois.
We
That's
were
what you were
talking
telling me,
about
though.
that
Yeah, you were
earlier.
just telling me about that. Yeah.
Oh my god.
So I have watched Demon Slayer. I'm not a big anime guy.
Yeah.
I have watched some of Demon Slayer. I've actually seen 2 of the movies.
great movies.
The thing is, I didn't watch the series before I saw the movie, so I had no idea what was going on.
That's what I did
Uh,
for the very first movie. I didn't see anything.
Well,
in-
because my wife is super into Demon Slayer,
Oh
loves it.
wow.
Yeah, loves it. So I I've tried watching the actual show. I just can't get into it. I don't know.
That's
It's
fair.
tough.
I
fair.
struggle with animes. Like even animes that you would think would like be in my wheelhouse. I just
Yeah.
for some reason can't get into.
There's something about having like an entry point, right? There's
Yeah.
something that is so accessible that it makes you feel like you do other things. Because I had a friend who's the exact same way, and like he really wanted to like anime. He tried to watch Attack on Titan, he didn't like it. Sword Art Online, he didn't like it. Dragon Ball, he didn't like it. And then I think it was the worst anime I've ever fucking watched.
Interviewer was somehow the one that he wanted.
That
to
was
go
Yeah,
like
with.
he
really in
wanted
my
to-
wheelhouse.
That's one of the best anime I've ever watched. It's so horrible. No, dude, it was 7 Deadly Sins. For some reason, he got a little high. It's a horrible anime. It's one of the worst.
I think it's actually pretty solid.
I've never seen it. So
The animation season 2 and forward, that went to hell, and
the animation went to hell. And if you closed out the show, like I don't know if you finished it, but
Oh, yeah.
I like the ending. They were like making shit up in the last 2 episodes. There was like a villain is King Arthur's actually the villain, and blah 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 blah. And they
they
like,
set up some weird shit for the
Here's,
current show, the 4 Horsemen of the Apocalypse.
oh my god, yeah.
something.
There's a current show about his kid. That's how you know it's bad. It's like Boruto, Naruto ass level. But yeah, for some reason that horrible anime like made this man like fully a weeb, and now he watches
that's funny.
more shit than I do by a lot.
That's
funny.
because 7 Deadly Sins is one of those ones where it's literally fight scenes.
Yeah.
Mm.
That's
little boy
basically it,
groping a
and-
woman 24/7.
Well,
that's the
we all like that.
It's heavy. It's heavy-handed in the first episode, and then like they go really heavy on some parts, and then it's like nothing. It's really and you're like, okay, what the fuck?
That's one of the reasons I like, and I forget which one it is. I watched one of the Fate.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
I don't remember if it was like Fate Zero or what,
Yeah.
but that was one of the reasons I really like that. It was because it was like 90% fight scenes
Mhm.
nice.
and like really well animated fight scenes.
Oh,
you know?
That's why
beautiful.
Demon
Yeah,
Slayer-
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
I honestly think that's the reason you watch Demon Slayer. Like, I like the story of Demon Slayer. Sometimes I feel like it's very little kiddie here and there, which is crazy because of how gruesome it is. But like, the characters are very one note ish. Like,
Mhm.
2 notes. Okay, one is nice, happy, funny, silly, angry, and powerful. Those are like the only 2 character traits. So it's very kiddie. The animation's so good. Dude. The music is so good.
I will
It's
admit
so
that when
cute.
when I've like seen my wife watching it, the anime and even the movies I saw, the animation was
Yeah.
really good.
Yeah.
Thing.
Big difference is Demon Slayer's slower between the fights,
Yeah,
whereas like 7 Deadly Sins is like
every episode.
You will not get a full episode without at least one big fight of someone showing themselves being super awesome. And it's great for getting people into that kind of thing where it's like, oh my gosh, yeah, I want to see someone super overpowered and killing everyone and being awesome.
Yeah.
That's been the fun
Being,
realization of
killing
this.
everybody is awesome, Dan. Is that what
So
we're
awesome.
Yeah, Dan.
So awesome.
Have you
Wow.
seen Jujutsu Kaisen?
I've seen one of the movies. I had no idea what was going on in it.
It was a prequel movie. You should have been able to.
I
No,
mean,
I'm
you know,
joking.
well, let me-
I
let
watched
me-
it very late. I watched it out of
underst-
order.
I understand the premise. You know what I'm saying? Like, I get the concept. It was like
Mm-hmm.
characters and stuff, though. My wife's like elbowing me in the movie theater. I'm like, I don't know who that is. I don't know.
Right. I don't
Why
even
is
know
that
what I'm
polar
looking
bear talking? What is going on? I think it was a polar bear.
It's a
I guess-
panda.
Sorry,
It's a
panda
panda,
bear. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Andy.
Sorry.
God,
Jeez. Yeah. That
son of a bitch.
Dan and I were reviewing the 2nd season of the show. The movie, while is a prequel, is like integral information to go into the 2nd season. Didn't know what the fuck was going on, dude. I actually like watched all the way through season 2, and I was like, I don't think I like Jujutsu Kaisen. Like, I don't understand this, and I'm not enjoying it. And then the fight scenes and stuff in the last 3 episodes were so cool. I was like, I think I love this show. And then I watched the movie, and I was like, oh, this is fantastic. I like this, but I didn't understand it for a lot of, which is a very that's a very Benny thing to do, actually. To be honest, I was like, it's a prequel. I don't need to watch it.
That
Benny
is
would
true.
watch TV shows that aren't based on a manga or a comic book, and you'd go, this is filler. It's not filler, Benny. It's just
That's not
episodes
how
of people
normal
are
TV works.
speaking. It's
Yeah.
not. Oh my
Well,
God.
Well, that's
Old
because filler was
sitcoms.
just boring episodes.
Old
Yeah,
old
yeah.
sitcoms had filler. There was like the random episode, which
That's-
is like
that's
had
true.
nothing to do with anything else. But
right.
Oh
right,
yeah.
right.
Oh yeah.
Disneyland episodes of Full House, classics.
Ugh. Just promoting the
love that.
park.
I gotta say, those are like the best. Those are the best episodes of that show. They're so out of formula and exciting.
I was
was
gonna
just
say the Disneyland episodes of like Boy Meets World were really good.
They're fantastic. No, I'm like shitting on them a little bit because they did them and they're an ad, but it's such a good episode. They'll also like add things to the park that aren't there. Like there was like the specific moment where a genie comes out and it's like a guy in like a really crappy genie costume who like grants a wish for a day for one of the Full House girls. And I was like,
It's like
this
that's
shit
not a
doesn't
thing
happen.
they do. They
That's
never
awesome.
did that.
Although that would be awesome, right?
Right?
So sick.
Yeah, like you can imagine my disappointment when I found out, you know, they got the sword in the stone, and occasionally, like if an old lady or somebody is like trying to pull it,
Somebody hits a button and it comes out. Yeah.
Nothing happens.
Yeah. You don't rule the park for the day.
You don't rule the park. You don't get like a free like pass that cuts all the lines. Like it's you know, it's
at
you
least
get to lift
you
it a little
should
bit more than regular. Than
Bring
regular
the
people.
magic back to Disneyland.
At a
That's what I'm
minimum, you should
saying.
be able to be on one of the parades.
Yeah.
You
They
know,
should
like
have
a
all
little
the
kid.
sword aloft.
Yeah. Something
Keep
like
the
that.
sword, you know, the rest of
Also-
the day at the
Dude,
Dude,
that's
the
not
pulling
bad.
the sword-
King Arthur.
So the anvil's
Yeah.
here.
Get out of the
sword,
way.
you pull it, and it goes to here.
Yep.
Yeah,
And then it
that's
goes
all
back
it
then.
is.
Like you don't get to
Yep.
see the bottom. It can
No.
be like a non-sharp thing.
right?
But
You
yeah,
just have
it's
like a
mainly
blunt
more
prop
People will
sword.
find a way.
Yeah.
People will
Yeah,
find a way to hurt them.
Maybe it comes up and then it goes down and then someone goes like my liege and then you get to go to the parade and they give you a sword that looks like it but
that
it's
you
also
just
like,
hold.
it's rubber,
Yeah.
you know?
We could make Disneyland better in the
That's
same
what
way
we're
that
saying.
we could make Marvel better.
Yeah.
Have
we're
dreams.
really extending our arrogance to being like, yeah, we could save Marvel Comics,
could
we could save
fix
Marvel
Disney
Studios, and
parks.
we could fix Disney World.
You guys think you can save Marvel Comics? More power to you. I don't know.
No, I
think that ship
actually,
has
honestly,
sailed.
the Marvel thing, I have no idea. I know how to fix it with most publishers. but
Sounds like
Marvel
I
stuff-
can't fix it. I don't know what to do.
I don't even know if it's necessarily broken. They're still dominating the market share. Like Marvel's still doing fine. It's just
Yeah.
like
No,
Mhm.
they're out of business.
They're always out of business.
I'm actually kind of enjoying the Blood Hunt.
oh, Blood Hunt's
event.
on me.
The
No, I'm
Blood
loving
Hunt's-
Blood Hunt.
I like Jed McKay. Jed McKay, is it McKay or
He's-
Mackey? We always.
We all say McKay. I don't. I've
okay.
never-
I think it's
I don't-
McKay.
It's got to be
I met him.
McKay.
Yeah. I met him once and he never corrected me. So let's
Okay.
say it's McKay.
I was gonna say I'm a big fan of his. I've liked his
He's dope.
Avengers, his Moon Knight, his Moon Knight got me into
Moon
Moon
Knight was-
Knight.
So
Yeah.
what is Blood
Doctor
Hunt?
Strange is good.
His
Blood
Doctor
Hunt is
Strange
the
is
big Marvel
fantastic.
event.
Oh
Yeah.
wow!
Where
I-
basically it's
Marvel-
vampires rise up.
Yeah,
Oh, fun.
vampires take over the Marvel
They
universe.
did zombies a few years ago. I like this. I like this
Exactly.
trend. Now
So
it's
eventually,
werewolves.
mummies will be the thing.
Mummies, werewolves.
I would read that. You do like a mummy event, but you do
Yes.
like Brendan Fraser mummy,
Oh yes.
but like
Yes.
with Marvel characters, I would get into that.
Right.
I'd
Oh
get
yeah,
into
because
that.
there's people that, like Black Panther's been turned into a vampire. Like
yeah.
Miles the vampire. You could turn them into mummies. Like they
Good.
get wrapped. They're like,
Wait,
oh
I was
no!
gonna
and
say,
they-
wait, you turn someone into a mummy.
Well,
just
you know, in
wrap
this
them up
case,
in
they would
cloth.
be wrapped up. You know, they'd be
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
like you know, they.
But
He's
Miles
not-
would be webbed
But
up.
But there's not like
Oh.
it's not like werewolf. It's not like lycanthropy or vampirism or it's not a disease. You're
It's
already
true.
dead at that point.
No, mummies
Oh,
are
fair.
just a thing they did. You know.
Yeah.
You know, I'm surprised that
like you don't get
no
bitten by a mummy and become a mummy.
zombies are a race of zombie. Okay, I think
yeah.
that's it's
Yeah.
a different classification. It's a zombie that
still
came up and he was still
undead.
wearing clothing.
Yeah.
So we would
yeah.
basically do Blackest Night, right? We're bringing back all the
Yeah.
dead
Right.
Marvel characters.
But they'd also be wearing these wrappings. That'd be the only
And you'd
difference.
immediately get a whole
That's
set
right.
of zombie X-Men and then, or not zombie, of mummy X-Men team, and then also the regular team because they keep killing them off and bringing them back for whatever that protocol is that Benny tried to
Absolutely.
explain to me that made me furious.
Well, then you'd have a scene where, like, well, the way we could tell they're mummies is because of the wrappings. And so somebody betrays the team and they pull out like a piece of wrapping, like from their jacket. Oh, we didn't even see it.
Oh man.
But no, it'll
see
it'll
it, like
flop
trailer.
out of his sleeve
Yeah.
and he'll walk
He's
away.
like, we gotta go. And they go,
Oh no!
not you too.
Wow.
Anyway.
Man. Can you guys tell that we're just shooting the shit, Jack? Can
I
you
like
guys
it.
tell? I'm
I don't
having
even know
fun.
how to
Yeah.
start a show. So
Dan told me he would tell me when to record. I hope he didn't say it and I wasn't paying attention.
no, I didn't because I don't know
Okay.
when or how
Yeah,
to
yeah, yeah.
any.
Well, let's say that. I mean, like this is a stream. We could always repurpose this, right? Like this is
Yeah.
being saved to the Twitch.
Yeah,
so
we
we'll
could
be able-
download it, and I
yeah.
could put one of my silly editors on it. They don't have
have
other
them
work.
turn it into a show. Okay,
This
Yeah,
is
no,
something, you know.
This
This
is
is-
definitely something. I think
This
we
is
can all
content.
agree
This
of
is-
that.
yes. It's called content. It's just anything that you do is now under the umbrella of content.
Everything is content.
That's the most
Right.
Benny Potter sentence I've ever heard.
It is.
Anything you do is under
So
the
when-
umbrella of
Yeah.
content.
When I got
Exactly.
out here in 2019, I got out here in 2019, and originally I was just
2019?
writing. It was
Yeah.
2019, yeah. January 30th, I think, is the
But
actual day I
you
got
were
out here.
supposed to just write.
Well, yeah. So I'm like, yeah, Ben told me, he's like, you just come out here, you're gonna write. And so I get out here. I think it was what? It was like 2 weeks, Dan, or something like that. And
Not even.
And Ben was like, hey, I need you to come over to the house today before the stream. And I was like, okay, cool, whatever. So I show up and he's like, hey, you're gonna be on the stream today. And I was like, oh, okay. But Ben literally would turn everything we did, he wanted to turn into content.
Yes.
I was playing D&D. He's like, oh yeah, we should totally play D&D and we could stream it. I'm like,
Dungeons and Ale was
okay.
born.
Like, yeah. And that's how that came about. It was
Yeah.
just like, we were trying out restaurants and he's like, we should film these for like a blog, vlog or, blah, blah.
Oh
It
my
was just
God,
like
yeah.
everything we did.
Sometimes to satiate him, I'd record, but we wouldn't do anything with the footage because I knew he'd be so ADHD he'd forget about it.
Oh yeah.
Like at one point, we're in Disneyland, and Benny insists upon buying the entire menu at the Ant-Man
he
Cafe.
did that with like everywhere we went.
He
Everywhere.
loved doing that kind of thing. Of
Can I get one
okay,
of
let's just
everything?"
get one of everything and try it all.
Yeah.
I love it.
That was his thing.
Yeah,
And then we wouldn't eat like 90%
No,
of it.
we
'cause
wouldn't.
it
And he would be like,
either
"Why
we
are
all
we
just don't
wasting
eat that much food or it just
Right.
didn't taste good.
Oh
Yeah.
my God. Thankfully, we had a big group of people, and I think a lot of those guys only met him once, and then
So
they
were
were
just like,
yeah. And I saw them at
rude.
VidCon. I saw them at VidCon a couple weeks ago, and they were all like, "Man, sorry about your friend. I remember when he bought me, he bought us the whole restaurant the one time I met him, and I was like, that's how he was 24/7." Yeah.
Yeah.
Benny taught me a lot about fiscal responsibility and like made sure that I wasn't going to burn all my YouTube money. And then he also taught me to spend exorbitant amounts of money on food. So then simultaneously,
That was
Yeah.
Ben was
Even
like, you
out.
got to be really good with your money.
yeah.
Also, I
But
need to waste a couple
also
$1,000
really
on
bad
this
with
one
it.
thing over here.
Now check out this statue with huge knockers.
Oh, yeah. Oh my God.
Oh my gosh,
there's
the
a-
shirt comes
there's a
off. I
couple-
didn't know that.
I didn't know that, and I
Oh,
especially didn't
God.
spend $1,000 on it. Like,
He switched from
What's
freaking-
what's the statue called, Benny? Oh, the removable top statue that's literally
Yeah, exactly.
named that.
oh my God. Yeah, and then all the
Was-
waifu cups on the bottom too.
Well, yeah,
course.
they're all right there.
Yeah.
What was that one statue he bought, Dan, that it was like, it was in like lingerie or something like that? He's like, I had no idea that was, I was like, you didn't see
Mhm.
pictures of it? Come on.
Mhm.
Like, we 100%
one.
knew what you were buying.
Mhm.
Yeah.
We're all in the loop, Ben.
Yeah. But he acts like, oh, I had no
they sent
idea.
it to me. What am I
Yeah.
going to do?
Benny's
They expect us to-
explanation.
Yeah, they sent it to me. I mean, I just showed them my credit card, and all of a
Yeah.
sudden, this statue.
They sent it
Right?
to me in exchange for money.
He cracked me up because he said so much shit that like you really can't. You don't know if he's doing a bit or he's being serious. At one point, he talked about how he like doing poses in art. Like he liked to like stay really sharp in his art. And then he's like, so I follow a lot of OnlyFans girls on Twitter
Oh my
to draw
God.
them because of the
Yep.
physicality and their like posing is really unique.
And then
Yeah, I
he
was
told me one time, he was like, yeah, the problem with that is it's hard to find ones with clothes on. I'm like, well, no shit.
Yeah,
Ben.
that is hard. That is hard
Like-
to do. You know, you can
God.
also draw an apple.
Yeah, yeah,
You know, it's
yeah.
not, you don't need to be drawing
Yeah.
only women, and
I would-
and they don't have
But
to be
how
the
can
same
you
dress.
put boobs on an apple,
Ben,
Sal?
Right?
Ben would have
I
figured
guess
it
if I
out.
put two apples together, it'd be like boobs, and that'd be
Like
kind of
boobs.
okay. But then
Ben
I
saw
might as well just put
boobs
them on a woman.
everywhere.
You know?
Uh-huh. And then he'd
Yeah.
sit there while we were filming this goddamn show and he'd be playing some fucking horny ass anime girl phone game, just sitting here clicking away. And
Well-
he would decide whether he'd pretend he wasn't doing it or derail what we were doing to tell us something about it.
So I've been doing like the recordings and stuff, but I just come over here to Ben's place
Yeah.
because it's already obviously all set up. And like the first day I sit down to like look at the script and stuff, and all the backgrounds are just anime
Oh.
girls, and I'm like, this is really disconcerting. I'm like,
Well, Andy, can you?
and then
can you
they
share...
change, so they're like they're like switching on me, and I'm like, oh
Yeah.
my lord.
Well, Andy, I mean, what does your mouse pad look like right now?
Well, so yeah, okay, hold on.
Oh my god, what if it's a
So-
boob mouse pad?
It
Come on,
is.
Benny.
Okay,
Oh yeah.
So
that's my
so the
boy.
one mat isn't, but then there's a mat right here. There's a bunch of shit on it. I can't move it.
Yeah, no,
it's,
but
it's just
Take my
3
word
big
for it.
titty. That's all it is.
take my word
Yeah.
for it.
In like the most like
Yeah, they're like,
poses possible. Yeah, yeah.
maybe it's me,
yeah,
but
yeah.
Oh my
yeah,
God.
no. But this is not to
I like,
say that Benny.
people in the chat are like exposing my guy.
Yeah, I
Like,
know, like,
listen,
not-
listen.
That was-
Ben
we
was
talk
not
about that
secretive about
But a
it. all
drop in
right?
the bucket is a drop in the
Oh,
ocean
yeah.
of what
Yeah.
Benny was. Not to
Yeah.
say,
Mhm.
oh,
Yeah.
now we can really finally get.
Yeah, let's
blow the
just
lid
start
off of this.
trashing it.
Let's talk about it. The
All right,
drama.
we talked about what a pervert was, but let's talk about what a jerk he was as well.
Yeah.
He'd constantly do this bit where he'd shower me with compliments to harass me.
I
That ended up
know.
being his running gag.
I
That
saw
was his
that
move.
on Instagram.
yeah. Dude,
And in
it's
my mind, I was
fucking-
like, I'm gonna start doing that. I'm gonna do that at the end of this. I was like, I gotta remember to do it to
Oh
just
my
like mess
God.
with you.
Mhm.
that's like the funniest because he did it because we kept fighting about bullshit
Yeah.
every episode, and
Yep.
we like fighting, and we know that it's all in good fun. But I think Chad thought we were at
Sure,
each other's throats.
yeah.
So Benny's like, overcorrection. We're gonna fight,
Yeah.
and then I'm gonna be like, "Hey, husband, you look blank, blank, blank." It's like, sounds like you're gonna die today or something. Unfortunate phrase there, but that's literally what I was like. This is the scariest thing anyone's ever said to me.
Yeah.
Somebody traveled back in time to give this compliment before they die, kind of thing.
Yeah.
I'll let him know.
Yeah,
I got a
full
time
embodiment
travel.
of me.
I got a time travel thing I do.
We gotta
I'll
let
let
him
him
know.
know.
Come on, we all
Yeah.
agreed. He's haunting us now.
Yeah.
I mean,
The
if we
Hollywood
want a time
Warrior.
travel, we got to go to that one guy's shed on TikTok.
That's right. Me and
Yeah,
Dave
well,
just
Have you guys seen that one?
Yes.
I don't know how I saw it, and then it never came up again for how much of an actual time traveling situation that looked like.
Wait,
Yeah.
what-
Yeah.
I'm not on the
Did you-
tip tops. What
Okay,
is it?
so
Okay.
so basically there was this guy who was out of town or something, had his
Mhm.
like camera on his backyard, and there's this guy that just walks into his backyard, goes into the shed, nothing happens.
Okay.
Guy calls the cops, cops come over, go in the shed, no one's in the shed. He's been watching the camera this whole time. No one's in the shed. They're like, "Ooh, there's nothing here." Fast forward, camera's still playing. New old guy walks out of the shed, looks very similar to the first guy.
Interesting. Okay.
And it's one of those ones where you watch it and you're like, obviously, like, I'm taking this with a grain of salt.
yeah,
But this is on the side of something's going on here.
yeah.
Enough so
If
that I'm
nothing else,
surprised
it's pretty-
nothing else
it's-
has happened
it's
or
good
been
ed-
told about it.
Mhm.
Yeah, if not, it's good
Yeah,
editing.
yeah, I was
That's
gonna say, if
for
nothing else, it's good editing.
It's
Somebody
true.
needs to find Benny's list of ideas for his Benny Has a Problem channel, because
Yeah.
bet money that video is on there. Because Benny just sit there.
Oh,
They-
there's not a list. Do you want to know what the list for that channel was? The list for that channel was Benny had an idea and shot me a message. Literally,
Yeah.
a lot of my messages are just he finds something
Mhm.
and will either immediately go, "This is going to be a problem with," or start bitching about it, and
Yep.
then halfway
And
through
they go,
go,
wait a minute, this is
"Wait a
content.
second,
making a
we
video
should
out of
put
this."
this on camera."
Yeah, well, he also, you could tell, like, because that's the thing, is that he was so good at this,
Mhm.
and he made it look like it was easy, and
God,
that he didn't do much. And this has been in the back of my mind for the last month, because I'll have, like, very recently I've had like random things hove into my field of vision, and I'm like, oh man, like I should try this or this. I'll just ask Benny, because Benny knew. You know, he knew what to do, or he had a good impulse about everything that was this world. And so I've been completely in the dark. But like when it comes to that Benny Has a Problem thing, he'd be like, I got this thought. I have a feeling about X. And then he'd be like, now what category, what bucket do I put X into? Is it a Comicstorian show? Is it an Absolutely show? Is it a Benny Has a Problem show? Like, or is it just something that I say to someone on the phone and then hang up because I'm done talking? Because like that's another thing that he used to do, is he'd call, he'd be like, hey man, what's up? And it was so rare that he would call me to say what's up. It would always be about something. Usually it's about like canceling the show. And
Yeah.
and
Now you don't want to do the show today,
Yeah, I
right?
was gonna say
No,
he
you
had to
don't-
make sure you didn't want to do the
He
show.
always
yeah.
phrased it like that.
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah,
well,
yeah.
you're calling me.
Yeah.
You know, it's 20 minutes before the show's supposed to start. I feel like you're the one who wants to stop it, but yeah, all right. I don't feel like doing it. Okay. Well, I already drafted a tweet. Don't worry. I said. But,
Sal's feeling a little down today.
yeah.
Fucking
He'd be like, Sal's really busy. And I'm like, everybody thinks I'm like this lazy person. Like, but yeah.
With us,
so,
he
like,
always blamed Dan.
yeah, I'd be like, Dan, you
Yeah.
messed it up
Yeah.
again.
I mean, that was half my job, was the fall guy for Comicstorian.
Yeah. I'm the fall guy. I was the fall guy for Absolutely, where it was like, Absolutely didn't happen today. I'll tell you why. This guy over here.
As a Sal.
Sal's
Sal
too
again.
busy. He's got Comic Pop returns.
He's just
There's
so
no
busy.
time.
He's a busy guy, you know? I mean, like, not like me. But he'd call and we'd talk, and like he wouldn't know what to do. Like, I don't know if you guys have the same experience where it was like if you never just shot the breeze with Benny.
Nope.
Like, it was never just like, oh, we'll talk, like, you know, what you doing? What you thinking about? That was not a thing. And so like I'd call, like he'd call me, and then he'd be like, all right, well, I guess I'll talk to you later. I'm like, whoa. Because at that point I knew that he would not know what to do. And I'd be like, so what's going on? He's like, what do you mean? And I'm like, like in life, like how you doing? And he's like, oh, and then he'd like slot an answer.
Yeah.
I have a few things going on in my life. I'll pick that one. I'll take the tape of that one and play that one. And then he'd talk about it for a minute. And then once he finished that statement, he'd be like, all right, I gotta go. And I can't talk to you right now. I don't want to talk for too long.
Which is crazy because then we do this show or we play
and he
video
would
games.
this show would be that where he's like, now I can finally just be relaxed to talk to you like a normal person. Like, you can just call.
You can like we hang out in person.
No,
he called me about like VidCon hotels like a week before, and he was like, "Oh yeah, I'm getting this book, and I was like, "Oh, yeah, awesome, man! Should have done that 6 months ago when I told you to do it, but cool.
Dude,
Glad you're doing it."
And then he's like, "Oh, it's so expensive."
So expensive.
Yeah.
And then he's calling
Because it's like 4 days beforehand.
dude. And then he'd call me and he's like, "Oh, instead of staying at the VidCon hotel with all the creators, I'm gonna stay at the West End, and it's gonna be this plus my flight, $1,000 total. It's a deal. What do you think?" I was like, "I think you're an adult. Do what you want to do. That's fine, man. I just want to drink with you and eat a steak or something, man." Yeah, but he'd like qualify and explain it, and then I'd be like, "Hey, how are things going with blank and blank?" And he's like, explains that, and then immediately off the phone.
Yep. I gotta go.
Oh my god. I have one person in my life that's like that. My barber is like that. We're in person in the barber shop. Dude loves me. And we've like gone to like the shooting range together. He's been cutting my hair for 10 years. We're very good friends. But on the phone or in text message, it's like the guy fucking hates me, dude. Never know. He's just like one word answers like, "Okay, cool. Understood. All right, goodbye." Okay. Does anybody have any funny last like messages with Benny or anything? Because I do.
Well, I guess technically, because Dan, we went on to lunch Thursday. And I didn't even talk to him on Friday, and then he passed on Saturday. So Thursday, and I told the story. We kind of had like a mini wake kind of thing at my house. Dan was there, Sal was there, and so I told the story of our last lunch. So we're out to lunch, and I was talking about I wanted to get a Wormwood gaming table. I had a little bit of extra cash, so I was like, well, they start at $2,000, and they do the financing and stuff, so that's not terrible. and Ben, who has one. He's going on and on about it, and he's waving his hands, and he hit his soda so hard it goes flying across the table, bounces off. The liquid bounces off the table, splashes me in the face, and then it just pours into my lap. And I'm just like what the hell? And Dan just goes, "That was so violent." And so we had to like pick up his soda. I had to like get towels and like wipe myself. There's a giant puddle of soda on the floor. We basically had to switch tables. And he's like, "How did that even happen?" Because you're talking, all over the place.
Yeah.
Like,
because he's like, "What did you do?"
Yeah. Honestly, he was kind of like, it was like shocked. Like he couldn't understand how this could, like, I must have done something.
Yeah, Andy, what the hell, man? You're like, you just
why'd you put my drink there, Andy?
Yeah, like, good Lord. So we took his soda away. We put it on the other side of the table.
Yeah. I have actual proof. I have evidence of what he does. Here's a text from you feel like podcasting tomorrow, or you just want to hit it on Tuesday? I said, I could do it tomorrow, no problem. I mean, if you're tired, I'm happy to do Tuesday. Yeah, I'd say Tuesday, but we could check when I wake up. I'm like, yeah, let's play it by here. Tuesday. All right, so we're no topics today. We canceling today?
I'm trying to remember. I sent him one at one point. I basically, in the morning, I woke up and I was like, "So what's the reason we're not filming today?"
Yeah.
And he's like, "Why? What have you heard?" And I was like, "No, I just assumed there was going to be a reason." He's like, "Let me check with Dan, but I think we're going to do it." Like, all right.
The best part is the number of times he would jump between us to try and find someone that would validate him.
Quit.
Because so many times he would hit me up for like, "Hey, you don't want it. We don't need to do comics experiment this week." I'm like, "Benny, we need to do comics experiment. Well, let me check with Andy real quick." Andy's feeling tired.
I never had a reason. I was always like, "Hey, whatever, I'm cool." Like,
right,
even if I'm feeling a little off today, it's fine. I got it.
Yeah.
But I never was the reason.
Yeah.
but-
I don't know if he
Right.
lied to you, Dan, and told you.
No,
everyone
he
and stuff,
definitely
but-
would say that it would be you.
Yeah,
Sometime.
no, at no point was I ever like, man, can we just not do it today?
I love that we would have never gotten to the bottom of this until now. We just because all of us had the sinking suspicion that's what Benny has been doing.
Oh, I mean, I knew. I'll be honest. I knew.
Yeah, you knew.
Just because I mean, I
knew.
see all of this stuff. Like
Yeah.
I'm the one that, like Sal's saying, that he never got the "what you doing," whereas I was the one that would get the phone call from Benny and just,
I'm not doing it.
and quite literally, this was his voice. What you doing? Benny, I'm trying to do a video.
Yeah.
Do you want to come with me to Target? Do you want me to come with you to Target? Yeah, we're gonna go to Target. Then we're gonna go to Shields, and we're gonna go get some fruit. I'm like, okay, just come pick me up. And we'll
Yeah.
go to-
Oh my god. Just going on mini adventures.
I saw.
There
all
was
that stuff.
so much of that. We like I mean, we went on like several trips together, and in my brain, like Benny's there for all those trips, but he was only there for a few days at a time, and then like I had like a different reason I was in New York. But he's such a like big prominent presence that you only remember the Benny parts of like we went to New York together for we both had billboards in Times Square. I was hosting.
Oh, I remember he was talking about that trip.
Yeah. We had an Asian creator. I had an Asian creator event for YouTube that I was hosting. So we get our billboard in Times Square. We hang out. My girlfriend, Benny, Houston, we all get Korean barbecue. We have a good time. We're bouncing around, doing a bunch of stuff. And then like the next day, it's like, this is my day to go do stuff. Benny's also like tentatively invited to this thing because he's just a YouTuber in the area. He wants to be his partner manager. It's all Asian people and Benny, which is great. But I take a fucking Uber there, like a person does, because we're in Midtown. That's in Chelsea. It's a hot day. It's the May. It's a very hot day. And then Benny calls me, he texts me, he goes, "You're being lazy. I'm enjoying this walk." Shows up. I mean, just dripping
Drenched
in sweat,
in sweat.
doing this. He's wearing an all black ensemble, as he always is.
Yep.
Soaking wet. And he's like, "Yeah, it was maybe a little bit longer of a walk than I thought. I think I'm going to jog back on the way back." Definitely called an Uber. He definitely was BSing me because he left early. But we have one of like the main in memoriam pictures of him that like Entertainment Tonight used, TMZ used, a bunch of people used, is him right after that sequence of events. The Getty image that is taken is Benny sweating top to bottom.
That's
just
funny.
in pure exhaustion from his poor decision making.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess in his eyes, it's genius decision.
It's genius, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, Sal,
And it helped him with his macros, probably.
Exactly.
that's true. Sal, we were just in Chicago. We walked all over Chicago because
We walked
3 times.
3 different times, like this way, and like he doesn't check. Like I'll look at my phone and like plug in
Well,
where we're going, and
He checks.
like
Yeah.
he'll check like where it is. He'll see on the map where it is, and then just go in a direction.
Yeah.
He'll check enough to
sense of
make sure
direction was
everyone else.
terrible.
Yeah, he would make everyone else feel confident that he knew where he was going.
Exactly.
And then it started raining on us.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So now
Oh
we're
my
walking
God.
like miles in the rain.
And it's hot. Like it
And
was
it's
still
hot.
summer. Like it was hot Chicago rain. It was just like
Oh God.
I'm like, dude, we gotta get a car. And he's like, we're almost there.
There was the first day when we got there, we all met up at the hotel.
Yeah.
And I was like, I didn't even text Ben. I walked in the hotel and I was like, I wonder where he is. And I heard him laugh.
Yes.
And I was like, oh, there he is. And he
Yeah,
came
there.
right around the corner with Sal. And
Yep.
we went and got deep dish pizza.
Yes,
Mhm.
which was
And
so
then
good.
yeah, it was really good. Although we later learned from Kyle Higgins that it was crap.
It sucks. Yes.
Yeah, it was
what we
the
ate
worst
was
pizza.
garbage.
And we were
Yep.
like, we all liked it. That's
We
weird.
liked it.
But so then we were like, Ben's like, all right, we got to go to the con. He's like, I got it. It's this way. So we're like, all right, and we start walking,
Mhm.
Yeah.
and it starts raining. But we're all, we're all
We're
full.
talking,
all,
having
we're
fun.
talking. Yeah, we're having a
Mhm.
great time. And we get to supposedly where his GPS was bringing us,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it's just like a high-rise apartment.
Right? It's this. Yeah. It looked like it might have been a hotel. Go in. No, it's very expensive apartments.
Yeah, like really nice apartments, and there's like
Yeah.
a doorman, like a security guard.
Yeah. And they're
They
like,
would
what are
not
you-
let Sal
what
use
are
the
these-
bathroom.
Well, they're like, what are these 3 sweaty men doing in our lobby? Like, they do not live here. And they're wearing loser core. There's no way they can afford to live
Oh,
here.
I've learned that's a thing. I didn't know that was a thing until like 2 days
Loser
ago.
I know. I just
core.
learned about it
Yeah,
myself.
that's
I'm
a
like,
thing.
oh, that's what I've been wearing
That's
my
literally
entire
what
life.
I've worn.
Wait,
my
is that
entire
a-
life.
That's like an
Luchasaur
actual.
apparently is a
Yeah, if you wear,
style
like,
now.
jeans
Yeah.
and a t-shirt with maybe some flannel, you're a piece of shit.
I've
So,
also learned that all my musical tastes are apparently known as divorced dad rock. which I
Yes!
didn't realize.
I'm a
Yeah.
huge divorced dad fan, apparently.
Yeah.
I don't even have kids, and I'm not divorced.
I'm
but
not
anyway.
either of those things.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
I don't
so,
know
yes,
any of them either.
We walk in, and Sal's like asking the guy, and the guy's like, the convention
That's
center.
like
He's
across
like, that's
town.
like 2 miles the other direction. And we walk out, and Sal just looks at Ben and goes, "We're getting an Uber."
Yeah, let's just get an Uber. He's like, and Betty was like, "No, we're
He was
good."
like, "Let's walk," and we're like, "No, we're getting an Uber." And I was like, "I'm with Sal on this one. Let's get
Yeah.
out of here."
yeah,
Outvote his ass.
Yeah,
I don't understand.
Whenever you can.
It was like he was like, "Well, I'm skipping. Like, I'm not going to hit the gym during the whole
Right.
weekend we're here.
Yes,
So I better
that is
walk."
100% what it
everywhere.
was. Yeah,
And I'm like,
Mhm.
"Okay, great. You do that.
yeah.
Yeah, no. This
Please
was
let me get in the car." We did that when we did his birthday, when we were up in New York for like, was me and Houston and Benny. And he's like, "Let's go to Katz's Deli." I'm like, "You have no idea where that is. There's no way."
He's
Yeah.
like, "It's
We're gonna-
this way, Sal. It's fine."
Yeah. We wandered all over. I know this
You're like
area.
in the middle of Central Park. He's
Yeah,
like,
no,
"I swear it's around here somewhere."
we didn't get lost. I was just like, that's 12 blocks away.
Oh wow, yeah.
Oh my god.
I'm like, that is another borough. And he's like, yeah, it's fine. I'm like, he's like 12 blocks. I'm like, long blocks.
yeah.
They're
Yeah, but
not
you're-
small, Ben.
You're talking to Benny, who would go on like 10 miles worth of something every morning.
And that's the thing. Like, proportionately speaking, I'm sure it was fine for him. Even
Right.
if it was always going to be hot and you were always going to be like a sweaty mess when you got there. But I'm like, dude, read the room.
Yeah.
Poor little Houston, you know,
His
Little
little
man, he's like-
legs. His
Yeah,
little
his
legs.
little
He's like
legs.
trying to keep
you have
up.
to put him on your shoulders. Like it's
That would have been hilarious. Let's just
When
be
my
clear on that.
girlfriend met Benny in Houston for the first day, she thought Houston was Ben's son.
That happened a lot, apparently.
That did happen a lot, yeah.
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 She was like convinced of it. She goes, "Yeah, when are we gonna meet Benny and his son? What's his name again?" And I was like, "No, actually, he's
No.
30."
that's a friend.
That's
a
the funny
30-year-old
part. He's
man.
only like a few years younger than Ben.
Exactly.
To be fair, though, Houston does look like a little kid.
He
Let's-
Oh,
does.
yeah.
let's
He
be
does.
honest.
And then once you get to know him, the age is in the eyes. Like his eyes
Yeah.
are the eyes of like a grown adult man. And then,
beaten down shell of a man. Yeah.
I was in your
Pain.
stare. Yeah, exactly.
oh my gosh. Yeah, my last. So while we were doing the last stream I did with Ben, he first of all, the last video I'll ever do with him is the fucking Venom trailer review, which makes me sick to my stomach because I didn't want to do that video. I don't want to watch Venom. None of us. I guess now we're gonna have to watch Venom because of Benny, and we have to try and enjoy it for his sake. He
I'm
was
gonna
like,
say real quick. I'm gonna say the first two Venom, at least the first Venom movie, was better than I thought it was going to be.
yes,
Mhm.
Yeah,
yes,
the
that is a
second one
fair statement.
Second one is
Not as good. It's still
Yeah.
better than I thought it was going to be. but
both
not
of them
by
are
a
better
lot.
than any other. Like they're better than
Exactly.
Morbius. They're better than
Right.
Madam Web. They're gonna be
Yes.
better than Craven. Like it's
Right, of
just
course.
yeah.
Mhm.
They're better because Tom Hardy's good.
Yeah,
Tom Hardy's
that
great.
is true.
He's
Tom
having
Hardy's
fun.
the
He's
best.
Venom, and he's But that
Yeah.
said, we didn't want to do it. Ben
No.
made us watch this trailer, do a trailer reaction video with him, and then even during the video, me and Sal continued to say, "We're not watching this." And Benny's like, "You guys don't know how to have fun. This is gonna be crazy. This looks whoa, oh." And the only part that was cool, Venom horse. Venom
Yeah,
horse was
Venom horse.
awesome. That's like a sick thing. And
But
then
it's also like it's the last Venom movie you're gonna make, and the coolest thing you can think of is to give the horse
Yeah.
a symbiote. Like that's it. Like this
It
is
should
in
have
a
been. It
reality.
should have been something like a kangaroo, because
Yeah,
then you got
something
like a
insane.
boxing.
That
Venom
would be
kangaroo.
hilarious.
right?
Yeah.
But I mean, like, there is in the Marvel universe, there's a Venom T-Rex. I don't know how you get a T-Rex in here, but you do it.
Easy.
find a way.
You
have to
go
internet-
to a museum. It
It
goes on
engages
with
the
the skeleton.
skeleton.
Boom.
Or you don't even need to. You go to like one of those animatronic dinosaur exhibits that
Yeah.
were huge in like the 90s and like the
Uh-huh.
early
Yeah.
2000s. You do
Yeah.
that. It just takes
Boom.
over one of the T-Rexes.
Yes, thank you. And but like like the coolest thing for their like $300 million epic is going to be
Venom horse.
Venom horse.
Venom horse.
For like what,
Should've-
90 seconds maybe.
And you know what?
Maybe.
You
Their
should've
target demographic, bearded, tattooed man, seemed to fucking love it. He seemed
Yeah.
to jump.
They
up
should have
and down
done
in
like
joy.
the symbiotes get like in the New York, the Bronx Zoo or something like
Yes,
that, and just
Venom
take over a
pandas, Venom
bunch of
bears.
different animals.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
Kind of Carnage USA it a little
Yeah,
bit.
yeah,
a little bit.
It takes over
Yeah.
everything.
See, there we go. That's
Which-
why That's why Sony's never going to make it because they don't have us on our payday.
Yeah, that's
Exactly.
it.
We should
We're gonna
fix
fix
every
Disney
studio.
parks.
Yeah,
Yeah.
time to
Marvel
fix
Comics,
more.
Marvel Cinematic Universe, and the Sonyverse.
We can fix the Sonyverse.
We can
The Sonyverse is easy.
Take it away from them.
take
Yeah,
it
exactly.
the easiest way to
You're
do
all
it.
fired, and I'm going to
Yeah,
sell this to
yeah.
Marvel, and then we'll take the money and leave.
Philip Lord and whatever Miller are in charge now, so maybe it'll get good now. Who knows?
Oh, yeah.
I doubt it.
Spider-Verse guys.
The problem
Lego
Spider-Verse
movie.
guys are
Which,
in charge
yeah,
now.
they're great, but the problem is you got those upper echelon people who are still
Yeah.
like you need to
I
have
think-
nobody above them. If there
I
was
think
nobody
the
above them,
conversation is that they have a Feige level role where they have like executive decision making.
then maybe.
Yeah.
That said,
Yeah.
Sony is a company known to be like, just kidding. Fuck you, Avi Arad, come back in.
Absolutely.
I want to see Spider-Man. It's like,
I wanna
yes,
see-
Avi, we
yeah.
know. we know
Yeah,
you
we
want to
know,
see
we know.
Spider-Man.
Or Venom.
He's
More
I just
venom
might-
animals.
Yes.
Venomals. That's what we'll
Venomals.
call them. Venomals.
Venomals.
Oh my god. Yeah.
Oh man.
So in that stream, we did that video, and then people in chat were talking about a thing that I'd done the weekend prior. I did like a stream with the Try Guys and Smosh and hosted like a charity event. It was really fun, and the chat was talking about it, so I was trying to chat, and Benny's like, "Yeah, you did a good job." And then later in the conversation, I was like, "Yeah, I'm really tired because I just got back from LA like yesterday." He goes, "You were in LA for it?" I was like, "So you didn't see any of it?" He goes, "Yeah, I saw it." It's like, you fucking couldn't have, because unless you think I have the greatest green screen in the world, I was in a crowd of people in a studio that looked so clearly like I wasn't in fucking Alabama.
Yeah, no, he was like, I saw you went, or I saw you did a thing. Like I saw the tweet. I liked the tweet you posted.
What more
I
do you
didn't
need?
read it though.
Yeah.
He ignored the image attached to the tweet and all of that.
So
So
it was just like, new thing from Husson.
Husson.
Life.
Yes.
right,
Yeah.
right.
Husson's doing anything. Like
Anything.
Proud of him.
took a
And
fat
then
deuce today. Like.
it's literally, he did like a tweet where I talked about
fat
shitting once.
Dude.
So yeah, that happens, and then somebody like a couple days later. This is the 6th, so I guess this is the Friday. I'm day before I'm texting about, hey, what are our plans for this Comic-Con thing? And then also, I haven't been paid in 11 months, and we're joking about this. He told me 4 months ago to tell him when, and I, same as Benny, just like I was like, I'll fucking tell him some other time. And so we got that squared away, and then I was like, by the way, this guy that Ben knew related to us fucking is texting about Creators for Palestine. Even he saw it, and then Benny's like, LOL, LOL. I watched nothing at this point. I never said you didn't do a good job. And that's the last message I have from Benny. I never said he didn't do a fucking good job. Crazy.
Yeah.
Oh my God. That and like the My Hero angry debate, which he was categorically fucking wrong about.
Ben was wrong so often, but he would get angrily adamant that he was right.
Yeah.
And that was the best part.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like I think he knew he was wrong, but he's like, I can't
Absolutely.
admit I'm wrong.
Oh yeah.
He's
Yeah.
railing
Well,
against
I'm just, if I
reality at
get,
that
yeah,
point.
exactly. If I just get angry enough, they'll have to agree just so I stop.
Yeah.
You know what?
It really is kind of what he
Yeah,
pushed
yeah,
you to.
yeah.
I think that was, he mentioned at some point that was the reason I ended up getting hired and not just being on as a guest, is that I
You would
loved
keep
him and I loved his
arguing
video.
with-
I was like, you're fucking wrong, dude. Shut
Yeah.
up. And I would get like the same, I'd get just as heated as him. And poor Dan and poor Sal had to sit through so many, even Dylan had to sit through some of this screaming matches between me and
Yes.
Benny. Oh my
Yeah.
God. And then Benny would turn around and be like, Husson's just like me. like with so much like love, like, oh man, just a mini version of me. And I was like, you're making me crazy, Benny. You're doing this to me.
I remember one time me and Ben were arguing, and I never, like, my energy level isn't just, I don't scream because I just like,
Right.
I'm right, you're wrong. I don't know what else to tell you.
I'm not gonna. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
the
yeah.
raising of my voice isn't gonna
Yeah,
change.
it ain't
anything
gonna
about
change
reality.
anything. So I'll keep talking like this the whole time. But I
Yeah.
remember Dan was sitting there and Ben was like, Dan, who do you think is right? And Dan looked at us and he goes, if I know anything, it's when Andy is into something, he's right about it. He
Yeah.
just knows about stuff. And Ben was like, oh, come on.
That's a good one.
Oh,
my come on.
Come on.
And then it turned out I was right. So
Yeah.
Well, that's because when you do get into something, it's
I
just
get
like when
into
Benny,
Yeah,
like
I
when
get
Benny would
into it. Yeah,
research
yeah.
something, he would know like the weirdest
Mhm.
details
yeah.
because he
Yes.
would find this stuff. He would also fight for things that he had seen a single sentence of,
Right.
made up the whole thing in his head, convinced himself of it, tried
Yep.
to convince you of it, and then later was like, All right,
Yeah, it was
so
rough.
you were right with this
Yeah,
bit.
it was rough.
But
Yeah.
then he would always find one bit he was right about, and you go,
But
I was right with this bit.
Yeah,
I was right
yep.
with this bit.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. No,
I mean,
that's
he
so
made that
true.
whole cryptozoology show for that exact reason. What is it?
Yeah.
Nope. Yeah, the whole
Nope.
thing we did
Yeah,
for
nope.
Oh, I don't know this one. What was this one?
it
Oh,
was
Nope
on
was
this
a-
channel.
yeah, it was
Remember
a podcast.
Conspiracy Cast?
That was
Yeah, I
great.
remember that.
Yeah,
It evolved
Benny-
into Nope.
Oh,
Yeah, because it
okay.
was. I think it started out as like it was originally. I think like a Tales from Earth. That was an old channel that you guys
Yeah.
still have. That like I still think could be a thing. I mean, it's got all
Probably.
this stuff on it. I mean, it's just sitting there. It's just like a pair of peaches sitting on a kitchen table. Like the fruit flies are coming. You got to eat that shit.
Wait,
But,
is that the one with the stories?
yeah, that was the one where it's like Cthulhu Explained and
Oh
all
yeah,
the,
okay,
like,
yeah.
all those podcasts about that kind of stuff. Just
Yeah.
remove the word conspiracy and you're good. But
yeah, I don't know why he got real like
he
the
was really upset
conspiracy
about
part.
it.
Yeah.
Well, he was because the thing was he was like, these are big, like the world, like that's concept of like cryptozoology, conspiracy, all that stuff. Like it's big and it's in the algorithm. Like we gotta tap into that. Plus, like I have a passing interest in it, so it's got to be contentified. And so that was it. The whole and he's like, he had art commission T-shirts and like this.
Oh
whole
yeah,
thing.
I still got
Oh,
a mouse pad with Cthulhu on it.
You got a
What?
mouse pad? I didn't even know he
Yeah.
made mouse pads.
I think
man.
I have
That's
a
awesome.
mug too.
Oh,
God,
I think I have a
Probably.
mug.
look at all this
Yeah,
stuff. It's just
Yeah,
sitting in
yeah.
a warehouse somewhere. We don't even know. No, none of us know the address. Like it's just sitting.
It's
there
probably
somewhere.
sitting in his storage
It's probably in his
closet right
basement.
now. Yeah, honestly.
Yeah.
Mm.
There's a lot in there, but like, I know that, so in that same vein, he was like, "Oh, Sal, we need to do one too," and I was like, "I don't believe in anything." And he's like, "That's the show. You don't believe in
That's
anything."
the best part. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm like,
You don't want
"No,
everybody to believe in it. That doesn't
right?"
work.
He's like, and then he would try to like bait me by being like, "Oh man, so I read this thing about Bigfoot," and I'm like, "Nope, we're not doing Bigfoot. I don't care." Like, and he's like, "That's the show. The show is." You don't agree. I kind of do, or at least am willing to talk about it for 45 minutes. And then we'll see if you are convinced by any of the data at the end of the episode.
And the answer will always be no.
It was always no,
yeah.
because of course it was, because it's like, hey, listen, like there might be mer people, and I'm like, there aren't, and that'd be the end of it. But like we made like what, like a lot of episodes of that show. It's on that it's on
Okay.
Absolutely Marvel and DC. It's on actually this
Yeah.
main channel, which I'm like,
Mhm.
I don't think. I mean, the audience was there for it, but I'm
Sure,
like,
yeah.
Some
yeah.
reason.
I'm
for
sure
some
like half of them
unknown
were
reason.
like, what the fuck? Like, I don't
Yeah,
know.
what are they doing? I ended
What
up
is this?
having to midway through. I just started playing a character who believes in everything, and that is like a full-on fucking crazy idiot. I was like, the only way that I can get through this is to be insane during it.
Yeah,
It
Yeah.
worked. It worked. It was very
It worked.
funny.
yeah.
I
That was- yeah.
I always liked that. I think, and Benny at that point was like, "We're gonna have a Spotify feed that's gonna be this show only, and then this show and this show." That
Yeah.
guy is the king of biting off more than he can chew.
Oh, 100%.
No, he's the king
Crazy.
of
100%.
thinking other people knew how to do things, planning things accordingly, then finding out that person didn't know how to do it, and so nothing really happened because the key component didn't exist.
Well, it's like
Yep.
he is the embodiment of like no one will live your dreams for you, and it's like that's I think that's why we had like such a kindred spirit like element to ourselves, where it's like we both were like, I don't think that I should be the face of my company. I think that I got a couple people who are smart and cool, and I'll just put them in front of it, and then everyone just going like, I'm not gonna do that.
Mhm.
Like none of that sounds appealing to me, nor am I going to do any of that. And so both Benny and I were like, we have to get in front of the camera and just deal with it. And it just that so happened we also became huge narcissists and addicted to it.
Ben was always like that.
Yes.
Ben-
Well, that's
I-
true.
And I always pointed this out to him because we would go do something, and Ben is Ben. Ben
Yeah.
likes to be the center of attention. And I said
As
something
much
about
as he
that.
said that he didn't like getting
That's the
noticed
thing.
and
So,
stuff.
I would always be like, I think it was when I first started doing the podcast. I was like, it's fine. I don't love doing it, but it's fine.
Yeah.
I was like, but I don't really like, I don't need
Want the
people to be
attention.
watching me. Like, that's not my thing. And he's like, well, I don't either. I was like, bullshit.
Yeah, sure.
It's like, you love people paying attention to you.
Yes.
He's like,
Yeah.
no, I don't. No, I don't. I like to be in the background. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Are you acting like we just met? Like,
Right?
I've known you for 30 some odd years now.
In the
Yeah.
very rare instances, there's super rare instances, and they're usually in like really specific cases. Like if he and I were at like San Diego Comic-Con, people would be like, "Oh my god!" Like literally, I more than on one hand can I count how many people where I heard a person yell, "Oh my God," like they saw Elvis, and it's Benny. And they'd be like, "Oh my God, are you Comicstorian?" I'm like, "You just yelled, oh my God. If he's not Comicstorian, you're going to look like a freaking idiot."
I don't know. It's Comic-Con, though, so maybe not.
We're Comic-Con. It's probably him. Although at the same time, it's like, describe Comicstorian. Oh, you mean like a large built white
bearded man
with a beard and a podcast? Oh,
who wears an anime shirt.
Yeah, that only literally describes 3/4 of the audience here. But but anyway, but occasionally, but that's 2/3 of the time that he and I were together. But occasionally someone would notice me first and they'd be like, "Oh man, Sal." And we'd do a thing or have a conversation. And then Benny would just quietly just stew in it. and then when we were done, they'd be like, "Oh my God, Comicstorian." He's like, "There it is."
He's like, "Oh, thank God."
He's like, "Good, I needed that."
He didn't say it, but if it didn't happen, if they were just so overwhelmed by the rigmarole of the con, they'd leave, and then he'd be like, "Well, so I guess I'm a lucky guy because I get to hang out with the most popular person at the con." Like, and he would play it like it's a joke, and I'm like, we need to make sure we walk around an extra 10 minutes so we can find somebody.
Yeah, I was going to say,
we got to
recognize Benny.
But I love because he would do like we yeah, well, I guess. Well, here's Mr. Pop.
Oh, well, good for you, Sal. Comic Pop's doing real well, I guess.
Yeah, I guess maybe you can pay for dinner, I guess. How about that?
That's so fucking funny, man. He got
you love him for it. I'm like, dude, you're going to be recognized before you even finish making fun of me.
Yeah.
We were at I don't remember. He got recognized at Chicago. I remember that.
Oh, yeah.
And I always walked away. Like,
right,
because one, I'm not like a big
him.
people person. Yeah, exactly. And that's fine. And, maybe half the time people will be like, "Oh, and Andy." And I'd be like, "Hey, how you doing?"
Yes.
That's my like, nice to meet you. And then I would go do whatever I was doing.
Right. Or you want me to take a picture for you? Like, yeah.
But we went to, I forget the name of it's in Anaheim. I forget the name of the con.
WonderCon.
WonderCon. Thank you. We went to WonderCon and we were just kind of walking around outside, like looking at the cosplayers and stuff. And some kid came running up. He was hyperventilating, and Ben was like, "Are you all right? Are you gonna,
Yeah."
And he was, and he was kind of tired of him. And he was like, "Do you want a picture?" He's like, "Yeah, yeah." And he was like, "All right, cool." And I was like, "Do you want me? I'll take the picture. I'm cool." And he was like, "No, I want you in it too." I was like, "Oh, okay." Like,
yeah.
But yeah, he loved it, man. He loved being recognized, despite how much he would be like, I wish I could just walk through the con like one of the lowly unknowns.
Sure thing. Yeah. Okay, Benny, then let's just go to the Target in your local neighborhood.
Yeah.
You can finally pretend you can cosplay as a regular person.
Cosplay normal guy. Benny could never cosplay normal guy. He looked the way he looked.
He tried. He would wear. That's why he would wear the hat.
He's like 6'4".
Oh my God.
Yeah. Well, he's like, I think he was like 6'2", but he was like 6'2".
No, he was 6 foot. Like him and I were the same height.
Sure. I don't know. I'm little. I'm only 5'10". He was a big guy. He had a loud voice that projected. Like, there was
even
no
if he was
hiding.
not talking about comics, he was gonna be like, "Oh, these peanut butter cups look amazing."
We should do a podcast on the history of peanut butter cups.
He would right now. He'd be like, I mean, candy is pretty big. People love candy. Like,
yeah,
a lot of
what if we went into
I see people tweeting about candy. I think it's time to do a candy cast. Candy cast.
Like, done. Candy cast.
I'm already getting the URL.
Yeah, Candy Story. I was like, he would do that. If like two people in the chat said, like, what would be good, Ben would be like, "We should do that. We should do it."
And we would end up with a show. We would end up with a channel that was like Unwrapped, probably.
Yeah,
that show from the Food Network channel.
Yep. So and then about like 8 months later, it would just be a ghost town.
Yep.
Yeah.
That same New York trip, we went up to a rooftop bar somewhere in Midtown, and the bar owner recognized Benny just from his voice. Like, the guy hadn't even seen him, and he goes, "You sound a lot like, oh, are you Benny Potter?" No, he didn't even say Comicstorian. He said Benny Potter. I was like, this like grown 50-year-old black man is like a huge Comicstorian fan.
This, just so we're clear, that was not like a recent Comicstorian thing. So when we were growing up, I remember going to an Uno's Pizzeria in Rhode Island with my buddies, and I'm sitting there, and we're drinking, we're eating, and I swear I heard him, and I was just like, and I stand up, and he's like across the restaurant with his friends, and I just heard him laughing. And like, it's not like a new thing.
No,
It's just
that was
how
you
he
recognized him. That's how you found him.
a 200-person live show last year at VidCon that Benny came to, and I said so, and I don't remember what I said, but I immediately heard him laughing, and he's like in the background. I was like, and I think Comicstorian's here with us today because I can hear him, and then he laughs even louder in response to that.
Yeah, that happened to us at San Diego last year. We were walking around, we were going to a I don't remember what it was called. Maybe it was Morton's. It was a high-end steakhouse, like cloth napkins, and obviously we were dressed very nicely like this for that occasion. And it wasn't Benny. Benny wasn't paying for this one. There was somebody else paying for this one. But we go to it, and we're meeting them at the table, and the maitre d' is like, "Oh, Comic Story in the house." Like, let me take you to your table, sir. And he's like, "Oh, we're meeting people." He's like, "Oh, okay. Well, if you need anything, you let me know." And I'm like, he just broke protocol. Like, he's wearing a tuxedo, and he's like,
he's supposed to be that guy from Ferris Bueller.
So he's like, "Oh, the snooty waiter." Yeah, it's
like, what are you even doing here? Yeah.
That guy's like, "Whoa, Comicstorian. Yes. Awesome. This is why I took this job, to meet people like you. Sit down over here. Like, bring you something special." And then we would leave it. He's like, "Goodbye, Comicstorian." Like, so like, gotta make sure I say goodbye to you. And he's like, "Oh, I hate when this happens."
Oh God, it's so.
Oh no.
Wish I could just be one of the normies.
Oh man.
No, you don't.
He never said that, but you could see him thinking.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's like, would this be the thing that would make my friends and family yell at me?
Yeah.
If I said, I wish I could be normal.
I gotta say the most douchey thing I could say right now.
He would say it if it happened like in 3 times in a row. They'd be like, "Oh, if only I could be normal like you guys."
Oh, jeez. Be one of the regulars today.
Yes, under these very specific circumstances where it's like you need to be in a place that's a heavy metropolitan area.
Yeah.
For a convention, specifically for the niche that you talk about.
Yeah. And I will say though, for VidCon last year, he was like so excited for me to be getting recognized.
Yes.
And like genuinely, he was like later we were walking, he'd make me fucking walk everywhere, even though everyone else is Ubering and their little shuttles for us.
He's not gonna get to the gym for the next 4 days. All right.
Yeah.
So he's gotta walk.
I can't rock climb here.
Dude, so like on all these
my
long
mountain
walks,
bike is sitting at home right now.
Right? Just gathering dust.
He wishes he could have like a miniature mountain bike he just whip out.
They rent them on the street. You could just get one, but he wouldn't do it. We never did it.
I don't know why he never did that.
We never did it in like the 10 years that we've been going to conventions. He never went, "We should just rent one of these bikes," or "We should take one of these
scooter things." Yeah.
That I'm always afraid to take because I'm like, this thing must be just so loaded with diseases.
Those things in San Diego are fun. I did a TwitchCon.
They look fun.
I've never been to San Diego Comic-Con, so I've only been down there for TwitchCon 2 years ago.
Right.
And it was my first time honestly being like drunk in a metropolitan area, just kind of stumbling, and then like, "Oh, scooters." I just have to scan it, and then I'm just racing around, and I'm seeing like Dr. Disrespect across the road, and I'm just drunkenly racing by like, "Uh-oh, watch that guy, guys."
Gotta speed up on this thing. Get out of here.
Jeez, get out of here.
This is going to booster.
Speed up on this.
Yeah, I also love you. You mentioned Dr. Disrespect, and Benny would not know who that was. He's like, I don't know who that is.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm not plugged in. He's like, I am the largest comic book YouTuber. We got 3 million.
Past that, I got nothing.
I also have no idea who any of the other people in my bracket are. Like, I don't.
Yep. Except then he'd turn around and pretend to be a goddamn expert about it the next time it comes up. The next time I'm like trying to tell him something about like, "Oh yeah, I went to this thing and this person was there. Oh, they make this kind. Hussin, I know what blank it makes. I've been watching forever." And then he like can't reference anything other than one video. I was like, "You've seen the one video, right?"
I saw the one video that was pushed to me by YouTube when I was looking for anime.
They only make this specific kind of content. I was like, no, that's one video in a channel of 1,000 videos where it was specific.
Which is funny that he couldn't get that because he had like 800 different types of channels he was doing.
Exactly. Like he
videos.
Yeah. Well, and that's another testament to like how good he was at this job, because like, there are a lot of people who fancy themselves experts because they consume a lot of the content. They profess to be experts at. And like a lot of gurus on YouTube or YouTube gurus are like, I know every single YouTuber from like the infancy of the channel to the like latest trend and why they're successful and like the Mr. Beast models and how all this works. And Benny is the exact opposite, where he's like, I just know how it works.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like, this is what we need
Like
to be working on right
intuitively,
now.
like-
yeah, like just, oh, well, this is where it's going. It's like,
Yeah.
I know how an insane algorithm might predict how to succeed, or at the very least, like what we need to, where we need to be, like shunting ourselves in this particular like in time period. And it's just like intuitive. It was almost like he like, because he did the research as well. Like he knew how to do the job. It wasn't like he was a savant. He just made it look easy. And and also didn't know who any of the other people were who were also benefiting from knowing that as well. Like he, you know, maybe he'd know Casey Neistat. Like maybe he'd be able to recognize him.
Yeah,
Maybe.
he
The
knew
name
Casey
sounds
Neistat.
familiar. I was gonna say I think
Yeah.
he talked about him a lot.
Right? Like he'd be like, I think I know who that is. Like
Because he also knew, like, he would be like, I also know this guy. You guys don't know this guy? And it's like a really small niche corner. And you're like, how do you know them? But not like Dr. Disrespect or something. I'm gonna use that as the example.
Because
like
that guy did a video of a tiny niche thing that Ben was super
that
into.
he was.
So yeah, that's how it. Yeah, that's how we.
And it was like the definition of those ADHD hyperfixations. Just every single one of his turned into a channel.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like,
Dude,
That was
the little
super
things that he'd get excited about, like I'm lucky because I am a YouTuber, so I get to meet a lot of these people, and I talk about it, and Benny doesn't give a shit. And then one of these guys, his name's Billiam, and he has a great channel, and he made these like this ginormous Lost retrospective. Like each video on YouTube is 6 hours long, level retrospective, and it's funny, it's super entertaining. And I mentioned him once, and Benny's like, "Oh my god, you know Billiam?" He's like, he never cares about anything. He's like, "Whoa," and then I texted Billiam, and he goes, "What? Comicstorian has the faintest idea of who I am." I was like, not just the faintest idea. I think he's in love with you, dude. I don't know.
He's actually got pictures of you scattered around his.
Yeah, Billy.
you're his lock screen.
Yeah.
Oh my god, man.
I like it. That would be awesome.
Yeah, he's a fucking crazy person, man.
Yeah.
I love him so much. Every time I think about him, I'm just like, that guy. Like, some people have traits that are like him. Nobody has ever had those personality traits just hodgepodge together in a 6'4" frame of just pure chaos.
He was 6'13". Let's be honest.
and he could shoot bolts of lightning from his arse.
Crack-a-cuckoo.
Yeah, that was the noise.
Yes.
I was laughing. I was gonna say it, but yeah.
Nice.
Oh
yeah.
God, this shit. Yeah, somebody said Benny saying Hollywood Hussin whenever he'd name drop, and I just tell stories.
Oh my god!
The same way Benny would tell stories.
The best part, Hassan, is that now if you name drop any like YouTuber that you know, Andy will know even fewer of them than Benny.
That's true.
And that's just because I don't internet good.
Yeah, right.
Like,
you can make a few up. You can be like, "Oh man, you don't know Didgeridog? He's great."
That actually sounds like
that sounds amazing.
Yeah, I was gonna say that sounds like a real one.
Didgeridog's Apple Vision Pro video was crazy, dude.
Yeah.
He went swimming with it, and
it was like he almost single-handedly took down Apple.
Yeah. Crazy guy.
It's funny because Ben would always be like, "Yeah, do you watch? Have you seen this thing? And like these guys are arguing." I'm like, I don't even know what that is, to be honest with you.
Is
like,
that a YouTube video?
Yeah, like I have no idea what you're talking
I don't
about.
know.
Or he'd be like, "Yeah, this is really big right now." I was like, I don't even know what that is.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
I've never heard of that.
Speaking of almost taking when the news dropped that he passed. Number 2 trending just underneath Apple. The only thing that day that trended anything above Benny, and then eventually it went below him, was Apple announcing a whole new line of products. And that has to be like, I was texting Sal during a lot of this day of just like, Benny would be eating this fucking shit up, dude. Like James Gunn is tweeting about him.
Yeah.
Fucking.
Oh, yeah, he would have loved that.
The guy who plays Hawks on My Hero Academia, who's like objectively one of Ben's favorite characters, he's tweeting about him. Yeah. Ice Cube's son. Ice Cube's son is tweeting about Benny.
I didn't even see Ice Cube's son doing it.
Ice Cube's son. And then
is he a big comic guy? I didn't even know that.
He's a big Comicstorian guy. He like let me see if I can find this tweet because like even though like reading it,
if I remember right, he's like I was off social media, but I heard about this and I came back and wanted to say
so true.
Yeah. Exactly that.
That's funny.
There were probably some that like fell through the cracks that like we missed.
Sure,
there were so many.
I mean, I didn't even look.
Yeah, that's such a fair thing. The James Gunn thing.
I woke up that morning. My dad had sent me a bunch because so when it happened, our family came out here, like my parents and our brothers and sisters. They were all out here, Yeah, Sal came out, and so my dad. I want to say that was, I think it was Tuesday, because Dan, we released the statement Monday, right?
Monday, yeah.
Yeah. So it was Tuesday. My dad, when I woke up, I had a bunch of messages from my dad just linking me news articles and YouTube videos and things like that. And I was like, and then it was funny because my neighbor, so my neighborhood's a bunch of old people, and my neighbor across the street always helps me with stuff, because he's been a homeowner for 100,000 years. And he had brought us, like, he was helping out. He brought us like spaghetti and things, so we didn't have to worry about food.
Yeah.
And he's like, hey, I got a bone to pick with you. And I was like, okay, what's up? He's like, you didn't tell me how, yeah, I know, right? Not the greatest time, John.
Yeah.
But he was like, you never told me how famous your brother was.
Right.
He's like, I turned on the news this morning and I'm seeing stuff. And I'm like, I didn't know.
Yeah.
Like, I had no idea. Like, obviously I knew Ben was very popular on YouTube. And
Dude,
we go to cons and people recognize him, and I get that. But like, the fact that all the news, like Natalie's from France, her mom they had posted about it in a French newspaper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
I
was like, I had no idea.
Yeah. No, I didn't either. I was amazed. I was like, I mean, like, I get, yeah. I think that's when you're so close to him. You're just like, well, he's Benny.
Well, that's the thing. It was like, it's just my brother. Like, I don't get why people watch him, to be honest with you.
I don't know why. Look at his silly little voices. I'm Batman. Okay, dude, we get it.
All right.
All his voices were the same. Let's go.
They were the same voice over and over.
Yeah, meanwhile,
I told him this. I was like, for somebody who does voices, you don't do very good voices.
It's three.
Meanwhile, three voices.
Meanwhile, Joe Biden dropped a video where he's like, "I'm really sad to hear about Benny." Like,
yeah.
We're like, "What the crap?"
They're talking about it in the presidential debates.
Yeah, I never would have known about Annihilation were it not for Benny.
Dude, that
would be hilarious.
That was
I'm not gonna lie. That would be hilarious.
Too good.
He'd remembered. He'd be like, the comic pop, because he gets confused now. He's just like in the middle. The comic pop passing away. Benny the comic pop.
I'd be like, oh, thank you, Joe. Thanks for the exposure.
Oh my god.
Yeah, no, it's true. That was cool and sad, because it was like Benny would love this. I think if the thing is, if Benny could have seen the exposure, particularly that day.
Sure. Yeah.
Like, because of how much it was. And that's the thing. Like, that was what sucked about that day, among the 100 other things that sucked about that day, underneath the umbrella of the one thing that sucked the most about that day.
Yeah, you just wanted to call him and tell him about it.
Right. But is the fact that, like, there were so many things going on, and there was so much discussion, and you almost wanted to participate in it, but like, there's nothing. Like, I was like a sheet of paper. I was just like, I had nothing up in my brain to say anything, and I didn't want to engage or expose, or I didn't want to touch it. Like, there were a lot of people who I mean, Benny was one of those people who was like, oh, we need to make something.
We got to capitalize.
We got a relevancy window. Yeah, we don't want it to close. And but like, I was like, I can't, like, even if I wanted to, I'm a blank slate, and I can't even like jump into, and I didn't want to like try to, I don't know, cash in, or I was like, I'm not making a video, I'm not doing it. But I think that was, if Benny could have seen the exposure, that would have been the time we actually would have seen humble Benny, who would have been like, that's kind of a lot, guys. I feel like he would have been like, I mean, like, where people would have been like texting him like, it's TMZ, Newsweek, freaking the New York Times is messaging me about like a quote, and he'd be like, you could leave that on red. I know.
I like to think he wouldn't have been humble about it. I like to think he'd been like, of course.
I think
it would have been a combo. It would have been a combo. It would have started with him being like, yes, thank you. And then it would have been like, okay, can we stop? I just want to go on.
All right, it's been a day. Let's stop talking about
this. Drop it. Yeah. No, at the end of the day, he would have been like, oh my God. Like, he would have been overwhelmed. And it would have been like kind of amazing to see. Like, that would have been one of those things where it's like, I would like to see Benny go and like getting overwhelmed by his own success.
Yeah,
because it's rare. Like, my wife Tiffany told a great story about how at New York Comic Con, when we had the standing room only panel, and he didn't know it until after they let everybody in. Like, when we first got there, like, Brandon had bullshitted his way into getting us the Hall H equivalent of New York Comic Con. And then we all get there, like, there's one guy in the audience going like, woo, and we're like, yeah, that's par for the course. This is what we expected. And then somebody comes in and they're like, can we let everybody in? And he's like, what do you mean? And they're like, they're all waiting in another room. And he's like, what? And then they all filled in and he was like, oh, fuck. Like it was the one. And then he went like, of course I deserve this. Ha ha ha. Like, but like that one, there's like a little sliver of moment where Benny went like, oh my God. Like
there's like a brief time where he doubts himself. It's a
Where
very small window. Yeah.
Yes,
yeah.
it was he was a human being right there
yeah,
where he was like, oh
mhm.
my God, no. Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, you know who sucks? Joel. But yeah, I mean, like, but I think that would have been like seeing his name in any legitimate news source would have been like
Crazy.
well, of course. But yeah,
Jump
he's
scare.
yep.
I think Dylan's in the chat. Dylan
He
said
is.
it felt very weird to talk about it on the internet, and Dylan and I were texting a lot throughout a lot of that because it's just it was something because there were like I think Rob put out a video,
put out
where
a
he was
video.
telling stories about Benny, and it was like number 4 trending on YouTube, which is amazing.
Yeah.
And just
and
like
I don't blame
it was
Rob for that because
that was
Rob
such a
is
good video. It was
a
such
great
good
video. It was all from the heart, unscripted, and it was also that's how Rob communicates.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
like, I completely get that. I
I thought that was a good video. There was no shade at all for that at all.
Well, I
I
no
honestly
shade to
like,
anybody right now. Like I'm not trying to use this as an opportunity to shade anybody. I'm just saying like I didn't do it because even if I wanted to, I couldn't produce anything.
yeah,
You know, like
Yeah.
when I got the news, when Andy called me, I wrote a thing
right.
because I had nothing else going on. I was like, I have to say something.
Right.
And I wrote a thing, and then I was like, well, I'm just gonna leave it there. And and that was it, you know. And
Yeah.
I just, you know,
I put out an initial thing, and then when I saw the coverage being kind of like old YouTuber Ben Potter, the other thing that I put out was just that like dude was just getting started because that was the thing with Benny is that like he wasn't like a senior part of his career, but that was with one channel. He intended to like start a whole bunch of other things.
Yeah,
so
even if he was getting tired of like the main stuff, he was always trying to do other stuff.
And I think that's the thing where it's like, you know, a lot of people that missed him nostalgically because they'd fallen off Comicstorian over the years, which like in fairness, even I did. Like even before I like
Me
joined
too,
the
and I was
team,
writing for it.
Look, man, let's listen to my brother talk about comics. It's not doing it for me this week.
Oh my god.
But yeah, I like wanted to do what I could to correct that narrative because that was like bugging me. And it's like such a little thing. It doesn't really matter in the grand spectrum of everything, but it's like that dude, he was just getting started. And I love it. A lot of the people who are tweeting and talking about it are people that Benny would like pull up his sources in the middle of arguments with me where it's like Dexterdo, Killer, Keemstar, Moist Critical, Charlie, like all these like big YouTubers. And he's like, who the fuck are these? What are these?
Literally don't know
characters?
anyone you just said.
Yeah.
Never even heard of him.
You know what? Sal is more plugged in than he lets on. So Sal
true.
actually knows everybody we're referencing.
I did know all of those names. And I don't even watch them, by the way. I'm just aware of who everybody is.
They're part of the ethos.
I'm aware of names. I don't know what any of them do, though.
Look, I keep a list. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah.
You can see us Sal off screen. Yeah. I know those people.
Yeah. No. I keep a list of who needs to be stopped.
Who needs to be put down, put in their place.
Who needs to be stopped?
Sal's hit list. Yeah.
I am joking, and it's not. No. Whoa. Who's talking?
I was going to say, because if something happens, people are like, this is going to be Exhibit A.
This is all a joke.
Trial.
There's no list. I promise.
No one for sure.
But it's like on the wall behind you, Sal. Like we can see it. Like
it's like in a
Sal,
Billy
move your
Madison.
camera slightly.
We don't need to look over there
Oh
at the wall of YouTubers' faces.
What was the craziest? I think James Gunn is up there. I think for the fans, I think that's going to be crazy that James Gunn was giving condolences and talking about
the James Gunn one was cool. I got a couple of DMs from some people in the industry that he would have been very happy to hear from. Like, you know, Scott Snyder was like, it was like really bummed. You know, Phil DeFranco doing a video made it real for me.
Yeah.
Like, not that it like, I mean, Andy calling me made it real for me, but like, you know,
no, I was like, I'm pretty sure Andy's met. Just so we're clear, hold on. So the day of, I had to call. I called a lot of people.
You called everybody. Yeah.
I called everybody. Yeah. I think Dan, you.
I called
Dan
Huston.
Dan called me.
Okay.
I called Huston, and then I was not capable of calling anyone else. So you guys.
And
I was
and like Huey, I think called somebody. I forget who.
I think Huey also called me. Yeah, I think I talked to both of them.
But I had to call our parents. I had to call, you know, our brothers and sisters. I called Sal, and everybody's response was the same.
Yeah.
And everybody was like, I'm gonna try to say this out loud. Everybody was like, "You got to be kidding." Yeah. And I'm like, listen, I know I'm an asshole.
Yeah.
I get it. I know who I am. I have no doubts about how people perceive me.
Right.
But even I wouldn't.
I got my
this
limits.
Joke. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
No,
Jesus Christ.
That's how I felt anytime anyone made that comment of that's a joke, right? It's got to be a joke, right? It's
like this would be the worst joke.
yeah.
It's
Like,
not funny.
The immediate Discord response to Natalie's message was, "Oh my God, is the Discord hacked?" I was like, "Guys, no, you fucking idiot."
Well, to be
I
fair,
wish.
that sort of stuff has
That
happened,
happens.
so that could at
Yeah.
least be an argument, where
Right.
the,
That's
the,
text. That's
the
just from a
fake
thing.
death leak,
Yeah.
like,
Oh,
this
yeah.
actor died, and it's
Right?
all a giant
Right.
hoax. Yeah. So at
Yeah,
least
no.
that you could at least make the argument.
Yeah.
But like, I'm talking to my father.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Dude,
right.
he's like, "You're kidding, right?"
I
I'm like,
mean,
I'm like, Dad.
no, like.
to be fair though,
horrible
Andy, if you
prank.
told them some of the other jokes that you've made with your
Well,
father, he would.
that's
he
fair.
You're like,
could make
yeah,
it.
right. Yeah,
It's
I
where
got
you
to
just
call.
like check in the mirror, like, "Am I too sarcastic?" You're
Yeah.
asking your wife, "Am I way too
Oh,
sarcastic?"
don't get me wrong. The way I deal with things is humor.
Oh,
So I probably
Oh.
made some offhand comments over the week that most
Yeah.
people didn't find funny.
Yeah.
I definitely
Yeah.
did because I know there was a lot of gasps. But
100%.
And a dear God, that man was wrong. Like just
yeah, and I'm trying to think of a good one I can actually like share that
Yeah.
everybody wouldn't immediately hate me.
Yeah, I think we should just leave it to
Yeah, no, let's
imagination.
just
Yeah.
Let's not demonize Andy. Let's not also kill Andy in his career right now. But no,
Great
yeah,
start.
I got a call. I got a call from Rob first, and I was like, "Oh, Rob called. I missed it. I'll call him back."
Mm.
And then Andy called, and then I heard that Rob was like,
He was sad that you didn't pick up.
He picks up when Andy calls. He doesn't
because
pick up when I
we were
call.
we were all sitting on the front step of Ben's house.
Yeah.
Waiting for because the police have to give you like the official,
Yeah,
even though we all
Yeah,
knew,
yeah.
but they have to give you
right,
the
of
official.
course.
And I was like, "Oh, we should call Hassan. We should call Sal." And Rob was
Yeah.
like, "Well, I tried to call Sal. He didn't pick up." I was like, "Well, let me try." And yeah,
Yeah.
you picked up.
Yeah.
And I'm like across the street talking to you, and Rob's like,
Son of a bitch. No, here's what happened. I did not. My phone was on silent. I saw Rob called, and when I was like, "Oh, maybe," I was weighing whether I'll call Rob back right now or later. You called, and I was like, "Andy's calling. Cool."
"That's weird."
Well, it wasn't. I didn't think anything of it. I was just cool. Andy's probably mad at me because I didn't share my friend code about
That's true.
Helldivers.
Still haven't gotten it, by the way.
I know, I
Whatever.
don't-
No big deal.
I don't know how to get it. What do I do?
I couldn't tell
is it
you
in Steam? Is it in the game?
if
What do
it's in the game. Like I couldn't tell you offhand. I'd have to
Okay.
be looking at it. Yeah.
All right, all right. So it's the thing. Yeah, I'm like, oh, it's Rob. Oh, Andy's calling. Yay. No, yeah. So, but I was like, what's up, man? How you doing? You're like, not good.
not good. Yeah, not good.
And I'm like,
Well,
oh,
because that's the other thing. It's a Saturday. Everybody, even Huey. I saw Huey that morning,
yeah, it was a gorgeous.
and then I
day.
had to call him, and he's like,
Yeah.
"Hey, man, what's going on?"
Yeah.
I'm like,
all right, what
"Ah,
shenanigans
right,
are we
yeah,
getting up to
yeah,
today?
Yeah.
Yeah, that
Oh,
was
man.
yeah. Oof. Yeah, no.
Yeah, that's tough. This has been one of those things that I think like all of us have experienced some level where it's like he's such a larger than life guy. Him being gone, like over and over becomes real, if that makes sense. Like it's like not real, it becomes real, and then it stops being real for a while. Because he like lives on through all like the crazy stories of Jamal, Benny Potter, or whatever.
Well, it's the little things too that you just don't think of. Like me and him, on the channel we were doing the new Ultimate Spider-Man, and we were both actually enjoying it, which is rare.
Yeah.
It is very rare. Me and Ben would agree on a. You can ask Dan because
was
he would
very
constantly
rare.
we would constantly hear our arguments about it, and I would just say it sucked. Like he'd be like, "No." I was like, "No, it sucks. I don't know what else to tell you." So I read the latest issue, I think, of Ultimate Spider-Man after he had passed, and I was like, "Oh, I got to text Ben. That was really right, okay,
Oh,
yeah."
Mhm.
Things like that. It's like
Yeah.
because you just don't think about it. Because I didn't talk to him all the time, even
Right.
though we lived in the same state. We lived like 15 minutes away from each other.
Yeah.
But we would go a couple days without talking, so you don't think
Yeah.
about it, and then something happens, and
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
sorry, I didn't mean to bring the room down.
No.
I feel like I really brought it down.
It's
Really,
not,
saying
it's
that.
not a down thing. It's,
Well, because we were all like, yeah, what other fun thing are we talking?
yeah.
well, and
Let's
then, like,
tell another funny story then. Let's.
Well, in the same vein of like, what do you call it? Like making like morbid humor. Humor's how I cope with everything.
Yeah. That's
So
just how I am.
I was good about it in Alabama. Like other than my roommate who knew Benny, the first time I met Benny, we were in LA together for, God, I don't remember what we were there for, but we went to Disneyland And I was
Oh,
filming.
I know this story. He was telling me. Yeah.
I was filming my shit that day. Like I had some work to. It was only gonna take me like an hour, literally 1 hour of recording things, and then I get to not work for a month. Like that's how many videos I can bank in an hour.
That's awesome.
And Benny, about 10 minutes in, is like, "You guys have been going all day, so we're in California Adventureland." He's
So
like,
the story he told us was you guys had been going all day.
full of
like
shit,
hours.
dude.
Yeah. That's what he
Full
told
of
me and
shit.
Dan.
You know why he felt that way? Because he didn't ride the ride with us, where we were standing in line for an hour and a half to go ride the Guardians of the Galaxy Tower of Terror because he didn't want to be in a
not
crowd.
Big on rides.
No, he'd throw Natalie under the bus. He'd be like,
Yeah.
Natalie,
Oh,
I need to wear my mask, so I can't get on this thing. He was full of shit.
Not big on
To be
rides.
fair, Benny had a thing with crowds, and
He
like,
did. He
if,
did.
like
Yeah.
if it was too like lines, especially like at stuff like that, it was
Yeah.
too much for him to
Yeah.
a lot of
Totally
the time.
get it.
which
I
was-
also think he was a scaredy cat of rides.
That's fair, yeah.
Oh,
Just
man.
a big bitch.
Wow.
Let's be
Yeah,
honest.
that guy.
All right, let's start trashing him more. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah.
Austin, continue your stuff.
Yeah.
So 10 minutes into filming, he's like done. He's like, I'm not doing this. He goes, I'm going to go to Disneyland across the street and go have fun. He looks at Isaiah, he looks at my best friend, my roommate. He's like, you can come with me or you can stay here. And Isaiah loves Penny. He like loved his videos. He goes, I'll go with you. And they
Yeah.
walk off. And then in between, like, they're having fun. So I feel less pressure. Like I can film more if I want to. We're having fun. We're all hanging out. We're filming things along the way. And then we're making our way to that park. Like 2 hours go by and I like go to meet up with them. I was like, hey, where are you guys? He goes, go to Star Wars. So I walk into Star Wars land and literally like drunken stumbling out. Him and Isaiah are like wobbling out of the cantina where Benny has been buying him drinks for hours.
At this point, was he wearing the Jedi robes?
Nope, not yet.
Oh, okay.
Not yet. So he's still in civilian garb. And he's drunk out of his mind. And I was like, all right, cool. Let's go ride a ride together. And he goes, oh, well, I bought Genie Plus for me and Isaiah. We're going to go ride this ride. You can stand here and wait. So he goes to ride a fucking roller coaster. It's the Millennium Falcon simulator or
Yay.
something. And I'm just standing by like the giant Millennium Falcon waiting for them. And I see them exit the ride queue. And these two dumbasses, hoods up, are wearing Sith Lord robes with their hands like this. And they're looking for me. And I don't say anything for at least 2 minutes because I'm just staring at the pure stupidity that is this situation. And then I walk up.
According to Ben, they got cold.
Shut the fuck up.
This is what
It
he
was
told
the
us.
middle of summer in
This is what
Anaheim.
he told us. He said, well, the sun started going down. We started getting a little cold. So I went and bought a Sith robes.
They were like $200 Sith
Yeah, I
robes,
was like,
by the way.
they're not cheap. Just go get
No.
like a $40 hoodie or something.
Yeah.
Like,
So they start this bit and then they pull out, they bought me a Sith Lord robe too. Great.
That's nice.
And then Isaiah throws a joke of like, oh, but you're not getting one for your girlfriend? Obviously a joke. I'm not going to spend $200. And then Benny's like, yeah, Hushin, you really should get one for Cecily. Starts pressuring me. Then I had to spend $200 in a Sith Lord robe that like lives in my girlfriend's closet. She's never used
Never
it.
gonna wear it.
Well, she wore it once as like a bit and she moved recently. And she goes,
As a
this
bit?
thing takes up
a
so
late
much.
night bit.
Andy,
Come on.
come on.
Come on.
Come
Oh,
on,
this
use
is
my
a
force.
bit.
Come
Oh,
on,
yeah.
come on, Andy. She's gonna watch this live stream. She knows what I'm doing today. Yeah, so he pulls out one for me, and then I'm like, okay, cool. Now we're all in robes. We're all hanging out. It's gonna be fun,
Fine, we're
All
all
right, we
in
got the robes.
dude. Then Benny looks at me and he's like, well, Isaiah and I have appointments to make lightsabers. So here's my backpack. The strap is broken. I bought it over at Avengers Campus, which is like literally miles away. It's like miles walk from the back of Disneyland to the middle of California Adventureland. He goes, while we're doing this, can you walk from there to there, go get this replaced, and then come back and meet us? So for the next
He's like,
hour
we're
and a
going to
half,
do stuff. Let's
Yeah,
do the.
run
do the-
errands
I don't
for
have
me.
Huey. Go to do the errands.
I said it in a way too that I would have been an asshole to not do it, which like
Right,
looking back,
right,
fuck you, dude.
Yeah,
So I
yeah.
walked like a whole hour to another park, get a backpack and shade, and I've already been walking all day. I've been filming videos all day. My voice is shot from stupid Mickey Mouse voices. And then I get back, and instead of doing something funny, he goes, I'm hungry. Let's leave the park. So I don't even get to have any fun with him in Disneyland. Son of a bitch. Yeah. So in Alabama, like nobody other than Isaiah, I think Cecily, my girlfriend, met Benny and she really liked him. And like I had to fight VidCon to get Benny a ticket this year because they like cut the amount of +1s every creator gets. And I literally argued with them for months to get Benny his ticket. And My other plus one was Cecily, and she was very excited to like hang out with them. Benny passed. I gave the ticket to somebody else. It's funny because that somebody is actually blacklisted by VidCon, but they couldn't say anything about it because I gave them a ticket of my friend who'd passed away. So it was too awkward to broach the
I was gonna
subject.
say that's just
She's a really cool creator. She just made like a very honest, scathing review of VidCon. So like the internal team's like, oh, we don't want her here anymore.
So
She's
not
cool.
like a problem
No,
child.
no.
Just
No,
a
it's like,
oh, look,
VidCon
she has
problem.
a little bit of anti-Semitism in her, but like,
it's a little.
She's only killed a couple kids.
Only a couple people. The person's Amanda from Swell Entertainment. Benny really liked her. She was very the VidCon we did go to together. He had so much fun, which is so funny because all he does is bitch and complain about YouTube shit. He's like, I don't like going to places with YouTubers. I don't like any of this. And Benny wrote me a whole paragraph that I need to get framed where he's like, thanks so much for having me come to this VidCon. I really had like a wonderful time. I wasn't expecting to enjoy it. And you made VidCon worth going to. And I was like, this is the sweetest son of a bitch. This is such a sweet message from
like
him.
those weird times when he shows his humanity and you're like, this is weird. I don't like this. Stop doing
don't
that.
do that again. Never do that again.
Yeah.
He made a point of like once or twice a week just to be like, how are you, man? Been worried about you. Just to like DM me. Which
he would do that with me. He would just like randomly say, hey man, you all right? We haven't talked in a couple days. I was like, we don't talk for a couple days all the time.
All the
Like,
time.
what are you talking about?
He did a couple of check-ins as well. Yeah.
I wonder I wonder if he sent those in mass. Like,
yeah, right. Oh.
So
he's just like he's just like checking everybody on Discord there.
It's actually on scheduled messaging. He's in the middle of talking to you and it goes through and he's like, oh shit.
No, it's auto.
Yeah.
he wrote the messages like at the beginning and he just auto sends every now and
He's
then.
got scheduled them throughout the year, so just keep an eye out.
Benny cheating on his friends with each other. Yeah, dude, son of a bitch. Asking me how I am, then asking Sal, how dare he?
What a dick. I remember apropos of the Disneyland thing. One time we went to Disneyland because like Maker was courting Benny and Rob, and they made sure I got to be like a barnacle along with them. And we're walking around, and we got like the VIP tour, and we got like the person in the plaid, and they're walking us around. And
never got
back then.
Any of it. Benny made sure to let me know every time he tells a story. He goes, back when YouTubers mattered. Husson, you've obviously never experienced anything like this. There used to be money in the industry.
Oh, there was so much money, and they threw it at everybody. And even so, I had 10,000 subscribers back then, and I was like, and they were like, here's some money for you, and I'm like, but we were walking around Disney and it was before the Avengers campus, like before anything. Like it was just Disney being like, we got Marvel, baby. We have these Iron Man suits over there. And then like we had the other thing, what was like you could be magically like a Shield rep would come over to you and bring you to Asgard as like a Shield like exchange program. So you'd be transported into Odin's throne room. And then
that's cool.
Yeah, and then Thor would eventually show a guy in a Thor costume shows up and he does
it was Thor.
Oh, yeah, Thor, the god of thunder, walks in.
He actually showed up.
Right. And he puts Mjolnir down, and of course there's like an electromagnet underneath it. So like
you can't lift it. Yeah.
He's like, try to pick it up, asshole. And
it'd be great if that's actually what he said. Disney was still working out Marvel's kinks at that point. Try to pick it up, asshole.
There was a moment kind of like that because I was wearing a Superman shirt because we were going to see Batman versus Superman: Dawn of Justice that same night, and so we were doing
the night
pictures.
Got steadily worse. Then.
Oh yeah, right.
Oh no,
my God. Diminishing returns.
It was a rough night, but for a variety of reasons. But like I go up to Thor, and Thor is like, he looks at my shirt and he just goes, "Oh, you still like adventures about children's characters, like something like that, like making fun of Superman because he's freaking Thor." But before Thor shows up, like we're just like the Shield person has like put us in this room, and now we've got the Disney person with us, like our tour guide, and so it's like 5 or 6 of us, and we're just in the throne room, and they're just like, just before Thor shows up, I want to just look at this room that is maybe like 10 by 10, and it has like a big inviting throne at the top of these stairs that Thor I think will come down or something, but it's just an empty room with no accoutrements because you're supposed to be like in the sky or something. Like there's nothing there except for a chair, and like, the idea was like the walls opened up or something like that. So whatever. So we're in there and we're just looking around, and Benny's like, "Look at that awesome chair!" And he immediately beelines for Odin's throne. He's just walking towards it with the authority of Benny,
right?
And so he gets
act like you're supposed to be there. Nobody will say shit.
And most of the time they don't.
No, but he's like, oh, check out the chair. Takes 2 steps up the stairs, up to the throne. The Disney rep loses all. Disney represented those people in that plaid outfit, like who walk around. They are like the a Disney version of like royal guards in like Buckingham Palace. Like they are
right.
They're
not supposed to break.
They're not supposed to break. They're like, hi, like everything's great.
Yeah.
You know, like say something really controversial, and they're like, well, I don't know about that, but how about a churro? Like just really, really friendly, like lovely people. And Benny takes he has one foot on the step, and she goes, dear God, no! That was her response, was dear God, no, at the top of her lungs. And Benny's like, ah! And like throws himself back. And she's like, please don't go up the stairs. That's only for Asgardians. Like something like that. I'm like,
what?
I'm like, are these like made of fiberglass? Like, will he fall through them or something?
Like, that was my theory. Is like,
Oh my
just gonna fall apart. The
Right, like those are official stairs. They're not supposed to do anything. Thor doesn't walk up those stairs. Like, how could you build stairs that no one could walk on?
It's all smoke and mirrors.
Right, but I don't know what it was. I'm guessing it was just that, like, it was like that's just for the actor, like, because like smoke eventually billowed out, and then Thor came out, and he's like, ah,
Well,
like,
it's
Yeah.
probably like a safety thing too. Like, imagine if he had slipped on the stairs, like,
yeah, like crack,
you know.
just hit his head on like on
Yeah,
Mjolnir.
yeah.
But like, it was. But he was like, yeah, I'm gonna go up these stairs. Like everyone's just minding their own business. Like, I'm gonna go sit in Odin's throne.
Ben's like, I'm gonna do this.
I'm gonna sit in
Yeah.
Odin's throne. I think I deserve it.
Care.
Yeah.
Classic.
And that woman was just, and he like she could have been fired just for breaking character like that. But Benny made her do it.
Oh my God.
Dear God, no. He's like, yeah. And then, and of course, like Thor's like, yeah, pick it up, assholes. And Benny's like, okay. Like, I'm like,
Hour and a half passes. He's still pulling on.
I got this. I got this.
I'm like,
I felt it wiggle. I
Magnet,
felt
Benny.
it
Stop
wiggle.
trying so hard. You just go, you got me. Like that's.
He's like, Sal, I can fight science.
Yes.
That's exactly. I
understand.
can guarantee
Yep.
he was there thinking, I can break this magnet.
I could break magnets. Electromagnets are nothing compared to the sheer power of the Comicstorian.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a singular vacation. There was a lot of money being thrown around. None of it was Benny's, and Benny was just like, if this is the future's looking pretty friggin' bright right now.
Yeah. And then in the future, he'd be telling me the past was pretty bright.
It's like actually,
Listen, you really
missed
like
it.
messed out. You
Yeah.
messed up trying to.
You should have worked
wait
much
a-
harder when you were 12 and the money
you
was. in
really
the
should have been
industry.
older when you were 12. Is really what I'm trying to
yeah,
say.
you should have been born a lot
You should
earlier.
have been
Yeah.
older. Yeah, you should have been older. When
I
you were
love Benny
12.
because he would never let me forget that. Like, it doesn't matter in any way he could, he'd bring that up of like, yeah, back in the day, Hassan, before your time. I tell him anything cool I got to do that I was like excited about. He's like, oh, that's fine. But back
That's
in the
fine.
day,
Yeah,
I
but like
went
they
to
put me on
Club
a
33.
yacht.
They put me on a yacht, dude. Oh my God.
I went
Yeah.
to Asgard. Hassan,
Yeah.
all right.
I almost became
I-
Odin.
I almost set the chair.
Yeah, I almost took over Asgard.
Started calling
That
me
Disney
All
rep would
Father.
yell at me.
Gosh.
Oh,
Also,
man.
welcome Tevia, who's been not here till now. I'm going to name drop Tevia one last time. Just put
Yeah.
up and said, hi, what's going on? And I think that's the funniest fucking thing ever.
No, Tevia. Yep.
Tevia is usually
That's-
waiting in the chat long before we start the stream, and they'll be like, when's it going to start? When's it going to start thing? Oh, my God.
Yep. But yeah. Benny was also very like, you'd think like I remember at cons, he was like, oh, we should get this for like we got something for Tevia. We got like a Super Sun signed by everybody, and he was like, we're gonna blow Tevia's mind when we do this.
Yeah, he would always, I think even on the last stream ever, he was like, this is how much I feel like talking to you fans, by the way. And he did like a whole event about it. But Benny like loved his fans. The only reason I work here is because I joined Discord. I had one really fucking weird interaction in a Discord call with somebody who was like, I can wear blackface if I want to cosplay Valzad. And I was like, maybe I don't want to use this Discord server. And then the next thing was I saw that I could message Benny and I sent him something. I don't remember what it was about. And he like
Flash.
Yeah, maybe it's about Flash, something.
I remember when you first started messaging him because he kept talking to me about it, about this like TikTok
Who
guy.
this fucking guy think
Like
he
he's
is.
talking about,
Yeah. We chatted like I didn't know about the back end view. So in my brain, Comicstorian is like a pillar of the industry, and I'd hate to see it fail. On the front end, it is failing, and I'm like, what can I do to help? Like, genuinely, altruistically, I love this team. I don't know them, and I want this to work out for them. Do a YouTube Shorts. It's making me a bunch of money, and it's working.
Right.
My channel's growing really fast. And I try and explain to Benny, and then we go back and forth. I think there's like months between us. Every time I gain like a significant sum of followers, I'd be like, hey, Benny, I'm back again with more ideas for you that he doesn't want or care about.
That's right.
And eventually I had like an agency meeting with BBTV, who, like, if anybody knows anything about them, they went on to screw over a bunch of big YouTubers. And it was like a whole thing. But I like didn't enjoy the agency meeting, and I like asked Benny for his advice, and instead of messaging me back, he called me. And then we just like got it. And I remember being so, I like took a picture of the Discord screen on my phone. I was like, oh my God, I'm on the phone with the Comicstorian, which is so stupid because it's just Benny, dude. It's literally
Just him sitting there.
yeah. And then we talked for an hour and a half. And then at the end, I was like, by the way, if you need an extra guy for one of your Young Justice reviews, it's my favorite show ever. And then the rest is history. And it got to do that. He'd often tell the story of like, Husson is this annoying asshole on Discord who's trying to teach me about YouTube.
It was funny when I first got out here. We were going to the gym one day, and I was like, hey, did you ever think? I was like, yeah, I'm just doing stuff with Ben, but I was like, did you ever think maybe we write our own like comic, like we do our own comic for the channel, and you pay an artist just to do the specific scenes like we do with the other stuff.
Oh, that's fun. Yeah.
And he was like, it won't work. That sort of stuff doesn't do good. I was like, all right, it is what it is. No big deal. And then I think it was last year or the year before, he was like, I got this idea where we do a comic, like we write it like our normal videos. We pay an artist to do like the panels. And I was like, dude, I said that to you in 2019. And he's like, really?
Really?
I don't remember. I don't think you did.
No, because if you did, it would have been a terrible idea. Because I had the idea, it's a really good one. Apropos of the Husson thing, I remember him calling me, and he's like, yeah, he's like, if you're cool with it, we're gonna add another guy to the show. His name's Husson Kadir. He does this thing.
Sal was like, that sounds made up.
Well, he's like, he does this thing on TikTok. He's like, I don't know. Like literally, he was like, I don't know what it is. And I was like, well, what does he do? Like, he's like, he's a big deal on TikTok or something. I was like,
he's on the Tip Tops.
Like, he's on Tip Top. And I was
like,
looked
at my profile, glanced at my followers, and then moved on. He was like, okay,
literally. Cool. But like, he was like, who? I was like,
something to do with a mouse.
Right. He was like, I think it's like, I think he does like a Mickey voice. And I'm like, is he the Mickey puppet I see on every third video?
And it's like, maybe. I don't know.
I'm like, he's the Mickey guy. He's like, is that a big deal? I'm like, I'm seeing him in every third video. He has like tens of thousands of views every time he reacts to some like chick on chat roulette. Like, it's incredible. And I'm like, get him now. Are you kidding me?
But then Ben like would look away from the screen and then come back. Sal, I had a brilliant idea to bring this guy in. He's huge on Tip Tops.
Oh man.
And I was like, oh my God, yeah. I'm like, is he a fan or something? Like, how did you get him? Like, I was like, how'd you get him? And he's like, oh no, he's a
me.
He's like,
I reached out. I figured
he's a fan of ours, and I'm like, no, he's not. He's a fan of yours. He's like, yeah.
No, Sal, you know I was a fan of Comic Pop too. I don't want to hear that. You know that's true.
Yeah,
Husson was like comic
what?
Comic pop? That's like comic
Drake?
pop culture?
Like
Drake,
soda? Comics Explained? Which one are you?
There's so many that have comic in the name, despite the fact that when we first started, we didn't have comic in the name, and Benny was like, big mistake, got to put comic in the name.
Oh yeah, he was all about the like
the
science
name of the
behind
thing.
the name Comicstorian. About the whole point of it was the first thing you type is comic, and he was all.
He wasn't
about
wrong.
that.
He wasn't wrong. I should have started sooner. Right? That's the thing is like back then. Back in the day, like of going to Anaheim and being wined and dined by Maker Studios and having free trips to Disney World and all those things that Husson will never experience. We didn't have. I didn't have like any. I knew that like Benny was successful, and I knew that Benny knew how to make Benny videos, but I wasn't necessarily sure that he was like a guru. So like when Benny would say things, I'm like, I better vet this stuff. And and eventually, like it was like last 8 years, I was like, Benny said something like, okay,
I'm doing it.
Or he's like, I'm going to start doing this. I'm like, okay, well, me too.
I remember because I started seeing your shorts pop up on YouTube.
Well, because that was a very like it was an internal conversation where Benny and Husson and I were talking about that. Where he's like, Husson's like, you got to start doing shorts. Like Benny's like, yeah, and I'm like, and they just fixed the algorithm because originally like the shorts were going out like they were regular videos. They were being pushed to all subscribers, and it was just they were getting like 20,000-30,000 views, but it was annoying the shit out of the audience,
right?
Because they'd be like, I thought it was a new video, but it's just this 20-second thing.
Yeah,
that's what. So I was like, oh, because we had started doing the show. I was like, oh, I saw Sal starting to do the shorts. Ben was just like, he hates it. He hates doing them.
Yeah, Dylan just said Huston got us all to do it. Yeah, and I didn't like doing it either.
I was because I didn't like doing it originally because we used to do the
guessing games.
I hated doing that.
Really, I thought those were fun. I had fun doing.
That's
The problem was. The problem was it would be Benny was like, we got to start doing these shorts. We're going to do like, whatever short about a character. He's like, and then we're going to do this guessing game thing. He's like, that should be really good. I was like, all right, fine.
Great.
And so then I would do one and Ben would do one. And then I would do 15 and Ben would do like one.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, why am I the only one doing these? And he's like, oh, fans really like you. Anyway, I'm going to go play a game. And I'm like, what the hell? And so we would do them like in a row. Like, so I'd be sitting there doing 20 of them. And by the 10th, you're like, all right, male, female, cape. No, you know what I'm saying? It's like, it gets real old.
Yeah. I will tell you this. Here's a story that somebody reminded me in the chat where it was Rob from Comics Explained launched his channel and in fact enjoys his success today because his channel was called Marvel Explained. And it was because Marvel Cinematic Universe was
it was
up.
really big. Yeah.
And he was the only one who, well, let's not get into that. But like let's not get into the metrics of how successful Rob was initially. But like it was more like, so Rob's like, but Rob's like, Benny's like, I'm doing Marvel and DC stuff. And it's doing pretty good because sometimes Marvel's up, sometimes Marvel's down. You never know. And Rob's like, yeah, but DC's bullshit. I don't really care about DC. It's stupid. and Benny's like, yeah, but you should probably do it anyway. And there's a lot of cool stuff. And I'll just recommend, like, we'll recommend you cool stuff from DC, and you can start with that.
So you're not having to wade through the bullshit.
Exactly. You don't have to start like you don't have to start with like Action Comics #1 and Detective 27 and then just go from there. You got 80 years of videos to catch up on. He was just like, so Rob launched DC Explained, and
so like two separate channels.
And Benny was the one who was like, "What are you doing?
Yeah,
just change Marvel Explained to Comics Explained." Apropos of the name of the comics being the name, he's like, "Call it Comics Explained." And you'll just double your views. Like instead of you're splitting your views.
Because I was gonna say because some people might go to one channel and not the other. So,
exactly. He's like, no, just make it Comics Explained. Comics Explained is Comics Explained because Benny told him to change it.
That's funny.
Oh my gosh, Jesus, that guy.
I told him when I got out here, I was like, I'm gonna make my own channel. I'm gonna call it Comic Historian, and I'm just gonna do the same videos but in a slightly different way. So like Ben put out a Batman video, I put out the same Batman video but slightly different.
But
he realized I was way too lazy to do that, so I wasn't gonna
it was never gonna happen.
It was never gonna happen.
Dude, thinking about the Benny just like stealing an idea and like saying no and then repurposing it later. I remember telling him like a year and some change ago that I like, the Mickey stuff pays bills, but I want to do commentary videos. It's like a whole genre on YouTube. I love them. And I really enjoyed making them. And I sent him some of the videos I was making. And Benny's like, not for me. And then fucking within months, he's literally making commentary videos on the Comicstorian. Then he launches Has a Problem, which is Benny's commentary channel. And then when I'm trying to like tell him about commentary YouTubers that I like, he goes, "Oh yeah, I watch all their video, blah 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 blah." He'd like jump on the bandwagon of this thing. That he was like, "I mean, sure, Huston, whatever you think will work. Whatever. Good luck with that."
But the funny thing is, it wasn't Benny trying to like reverse psychology you into doing something else and then him capitalizing on it. He would legitimately be like, "No," he legitimately was like, "I hate that," and then something else would just like worm its way into his craw, and then he's like, "I should be doing that." Like, and it was apropos of nothing. It was like,
and then he would forget that you guys talked about it.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, well,
that wasn't like, oh, that was a really good idea. Sal said maybe I should use it. It was just like, I don't remember us ever talking about that. Sal, I don't know.
Yeah, geez, it's over my head. I worked
over Ben's head. He's too tall.
Yeah, it hits the top of his
hit
head,
right
falls
in
to the
the
ground. He
yeah.
steps on it with his big ass shoes, his Jordans, his Shang-Chi Jordans that he told me about 7 times, as if he hadn't already told me the story
He
about
would
why
tell
he
me
got
about his shoes all the time, and I don't care. I don't give 2 shits about
I'm not a
shoes.
sneakerhead, and he
Couldn't
knew
care
that.
at
less.
all.
Benny became a sneakerhead. He's like started like sneaking in there,
Mhm.
and then just like
Uh-huh.
he moved in and was like every now and then he'd be like, dude, Dan, check this out. I got these Luffy Gear 5 shoes, like, and they're all like fuzzy and shit. And I'm like, okay, those do look kind of cool.
Those are kind of fire.
But,
Every once in a while, he'll pull something out because usually I'm like rolling my eyes, whatever the fuck he's saying, and then he's like, "Oh wait, that's actually fucking sick, dude."
yeah, like some of them look actually really cool.
I think he, God, I wish I took him up on it. He invited me to come over so many times to play Dungeons and Dragons at his crazy table because I've never played D&D, and he's like, "First time playing D&D, come here, and I have this table, and it's got magnetic cup holders," and he would just
I'm trying to
describe
find
the
space
table.
for it in my house right now. So
Oh hell yeah,
Yeah,
hell yeah.
amazing table.
Oh, dude. That Madam Web video that I worked so hard in this video, Andy, that I loved, where I went and saw Madam Web every day on a higher dosage of edible to see how many it took to make the movie good.
Okay.
So I went
How
and saw it
many?
in
I gotta
theaters.
know. I gotta know the number now. Hold on.
Yeah, I
What
saw
is
it
the number?
in the video 7. I saw it 9 times because there was like a whole thing. There was like a whole segment where I got so high that I was belligerent, so I had to cut everything.
This movie
The edibles got so strong he forgot 2 of the watches.
You guys don't understand. It was a horrible experience. So I'm making this and I'm telling Benny about it as I'm making it. And then Benny finds this fucking Twitch stream called Madam Web 24/7. He has it playing in the background.
Oh
And then
yeah,
when
he told me about that. Yeah.
When he makes his video, he's like, "I watched it 9 times." Like, shut the fuck up, Benny. You did it. It was on. And
He's
you
like,
were
"How
doing
many times you
everything."
watch it, husband?" Yeah,
Yeah.
I watched it one
One more time than that.
Yeah, one more time than that.
Yeah.
God.
And I didn't enjoy any of them.
They were all horrible. Each one was worse than the last, man. I've never been more ill in my life.
Didn't even see
Yeah.
that movie. So yeah.
I saw it the one time, and it was like 100 times more than it ever should have seen. I was like, this is like they should teach a class on how bad this movie is.
They
That's
put
what
it
I
on
was
Netflix, and my wife was like, "Oh, did you want to watch this Madam Web movie?" And I was like, "Not even a little bit." She's like,
Yeah.
"Oh, I'm gonna watch it." So she watches it, and later on, she came downstairs, and I was like, "Well, how was it?" She's like, "I wouldn't recommend it."
Yeah, no,
She's like, honestly, I wouldn't even pay attention the last 30 minutes. I was on my phone.
yeah, that is a. I was looking at my phone a little bit while I was watching that movie, which I never do. It was
Yeah,
just
yeah.
one of those things where it's like, yeah, I wouldn't recommend it as is like an understatement of the year for.
Yeah,
Madam Web. I wouldn't recommend it.
Wouldn't recommend
Damn,
it.
dude.
Never
I like my last showing of it, the theater was just empty. It was just like an IMAX showing, not one soul. And this is probably days after the movie came out. And there's just footage of me like yelling in the theater, "This is bad!" And it's like the camera, like my phone, "I'm angry at this," and I just keep turning it back and forth.
He's like, "I hope somebody doesn't yell at me to turn off my phone."
Yeah.
Except there's nobody here.
"Nobody's here." So dumb. And then we triple dipped that because I made mine. Benny made his. Then we made Sal sit with us and talk
And you
about,
talked
another
about
guy.
it. You just explained the movie, and I'm like, this is a
So
video.
You hadn't even seen it yet?
No, they were just like here because I was like, I will not be seeing this movie in theaters. I don't believe in Sony that much.
There's a channel idea. Is one guy has to watch a bad movie and then explain it to everybody.
That was
is
a show
Benny's
Benny
key
almost
idea.
made. He was
Benny
Yeah.
almost
very,
made it a dozen times.
but
actually.
you have to
Love
change
that
up who
idea.
the guy is. Like you
got
can't just be one guy watches
just-
all the bad
I'm just
movies.
assaulting this person with
Yeah.
with bad movies.
That's
Yeah.
called
Yeah.
forcing me to watch Flash, and we'll never do it again. God damn it! Worst time of my life. Worst time.
I
Second-
remember when you guys first started this channel, and I was like, "Oh, what do you guys talk about?" And he's like, "Yeah, well, I don't. I obviously you weren't there yet, husband.
Yeah,
But it was Ben, Dan, and Sal.
and
And
Dylan.
he's like, and Dylan, that's right. Yeah. He's like, yeah, we review like the CW channels. And at first Ben was like, "Do you want to do this channel with us?" And I was like, "Not even a little bit.
Not even a little.
Don't even want to do that at all."
no,
And it was like the first couple of months or whatever, you guys were like, "Yeah, it's not so bad." And then it just turned into everybody complaining about the Flash.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Why are you
Mhm.
guys still watching it?" And it's like for the podcast.
Yeah.
And I was like,
For the
"That's
show.
why I'm not doing it."
there was a point
Yeah.
of diminishing returns where the videos wouldn't even do good because we were
Yeah.
so exhausted by them, and Benny would still be like, "You gotta watch it,
You
Hudson.
gotta watch it.
You
But
gotta
then
watch
somehow
it."
they went back up because we hated them so much.
We ended up getting a
And-
new wave of audience that hated it as much as we.
So yeah, so it just becomes like a hate watch type of thing. But
Yeah.
then it was funny because I think you guys started watching Star Wars I
Yeah.
don't remember if it was the
It was
prequels or
prequels. It was
something.
my first time ever watching the prequels. I did.
I'm a huge Star Wars fan. Even after Disney, I still like, let's say 60% of it. That might be too much, but we'll say 60 for this purpose. And Dan was like, "Why didn't you bring Andy in to watch Star Wars?"
Mhm.
Oh, that
He's
would've
like,
been fun.
he's like, of all the things you would try to force Andy to watch, he wouldn't even have to rewatch them. I could just sit here and like
if
spout
I
them off to
remember
you.
right, if I
Yeah.
remember right, you had even just started like a rewatch within
Yeah,
that time.
because I just randomly watch Star Wars. It's what I
Yeah.
do. Like,
Right.
and I remember Ben going, I just assumed Andy wouldn't want to be on the podcast, and I was like, well, you're not wrong. So
Yeah,
Yeah,
err on the side
yeah.
of caution on that one. Usually
Yeah.
I don't, but
yeah,
We-
I was like, all right, that makes sense.
I might enjoy Star Wars, but I can't. The content with Star Wars, the fans, the way they'd harass us.
Oh, the fandom is awful.
fandom
It
sucks.
was my
so
first
awful.
time watching the prequels. Like
Yeah.
I'd maybe seen some snippets, like as a kid of
Sure.
Revenge of the Sith.
That's
but I
because you
hadn't
weren't old
watched
enough.
them.
You should have been older when you were 12.
Yeah, I
Sorry.
should have been
Really?
just like
Yeah.
Benny asked me. I should have been
Yeah.
much older when I was a kid. I remember talking about. I was like, I don't really like Qui-Gon Jinn, and I'm like explaining thing, and there's like a giant, like a 30-paragraph essay where he's like, "Well, you see, he's a gray Jedi," and I was like, if it's not in the movie, you have to
Right.
understand.
That's not
I'm
canon,
only
just
watching
so
a
we're
movie.
clear.
It's-
Yeah, Gray
it-
Jedi isn't canon even in the expanded universe.
It's not a thing.
It's a term fans came up with. I'm gonna get a lot of hate for this if anybody
Yeah.
watches this.
oh
It's
yeah.
a term fans came up with that was never technically canon,
Yeah.
even in the expanded universe. And you can at me all you want, I won't respond. So
You don't have an ad.
I don't have an at. I guess
Yeah.
technically I have an at.
Yeah.
People did at me after Ben's
true.
passing, and I apologize to everybody I didn't respond to. I had a lot going on that week.
Really?
Yeah,
What could it have
I
been,
was
dude?
dealing with a lot of the stuff that week.
Oh,
so,
God.
yeah.
Oh, what a bummer.
Yeah.
Yeah. The I can't just say what a bummer and laugh it off.
What a bummer.
What a bummer,
right?
guys. Jeez. But yeah, we had to. I
Ben
think
really ruined my weekend. Is all I'm saying.
that's what
Yeah.
I'm saying, man.
At least, yeah.
I had other things to
yeah.
worry about that week, and then I
Yeah,
was like,
seriously.
oh, it's all
Yeah.
Benny Potter. I think it was the Obi-Wan series that was like nail in the coffin for us that we stopped reviewing Star Wars content altogether.
Yeah, I
Those-
liked some of Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
It should have been a
Dylan
movie.
made a movie cut
It should have been
I
a
think.
movie.
Yeah,
The
there's-
problem
Dylan
was
did,
they tried to stretch that into 6 episodes.
Yep.
That-
And
they-
it was apparently a different movie. Like apparently,
Yeah.
like it was all going to take place on Tatooine because like it would be insane for Obi-Wan to leave, and they had to reshoot it because they were like, oh, we're making a different thing. Like it was just crap.
Yeah, it I really liked the lightsaber fights in that. I thought they looked cool. I liked the
Oh,
coloring
yeah.
where they were like
in
the
Obi-Wan?
lightsaber. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
people didn't like them for some reason. Like Star Wars.
I've
fans
actually-
They're
just
too
weren't-
bright.
I've actually thought the Ahsoka. Apparently I was alone on this. I thought the lightsaber battles in like Obi-Wan and Ahsoka were actually pretty good, but
yeah.
a lot of the internet does not agree with me on that
No.
one. Yeah,
No, I liked the only thing I could say I liked about Obi-Wan was how they did Vader. Like his voice.
Yeah.
Vader was good. Yeah.
Like
Very
the,
cool
the,
voice.
Well,
the
and Ewan
AI
McGregor
generated
as
voice.
Obi-Wan is fantastic.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
He's just a
McGregor's
good
great.
actor. Yeah,
He's
yeah.
great. Yeah, exactly. But
the
I love
problem wasn't that; it was like
Everything
what they were
else.
doing
bad it
with
was.
Yeah,
it was just
yeah.
how poorly written and acted it was by everybody
Yeah.
else. But
Mhm.
but yeah, I like because I kind of liked Rogue One, but I was like, you didn't do anything to James Earl Jones's voice. Like he sounds old.
sounded old, and he had
He
that
sounds
one
old.
weird dad joke.
Yeah, don't choke,
Choke on your
aspiration.
aspiration. I was like, really? Come on,
Don't call attention to you doing the force choke move. That's weird.
just
That's
do it
weird.
and walk away. Like,
Yeah, that's what Vader does. What the
Yeah.
hell is this? But then like in the Obi-Wan show, like I don't even think it was a person. I think they like I think there was a machine learning with the Vader
like
voice.
an AI. Yeah,
Like an
yeah,
AI.
yeah, yeah.
I can see it.
But I was
Yeah.
like, I like it. Like I kind of like it because I love the idea of Vader never really going above a certain register. I love it.
Right.
And just the fake delivery of like I am what you made me. I'm like, that's a good line. And it
Yeah.
was so well delivered. And I'm like oh,
Or like when he says like you didn't fail me.
yeah.
Or something like that.
Yeah,
you,
like
you didn't
you didn't
create me or
kill
s-
you didn't
Yeah,
kill, you didn't kill me. I did. Like you
Yeah.
didn't Anakin Skywalker.
like that was actually pretty good. Yeah, it's
a good line,
There
like,
was parts. I
Yeah.
liked.
yeah. Or when he yells at whatever her name was, where he's like, "You were warned." I'm like, "This is good. This is good stuff. Like this is
Yeah.
cool. Now put it in a movie or show I want to watch."
yeah.
Fair.
Like, if you
That
could
was the
use-
thing. If they had cut that down to like 2 hours,
yeah.
Maybe, yeah. Like
Dude,
75
Anakin is
minute long
dead.
movie.
Anakin is dead. I am what remains.
yeah,
That
Yeah.
goes so hard.
that's a
Not
great
bad.
line.
Sal, you really disagree on the brightness of the lightsaber? I thought it looked so cool because they were in the dark and it was like shining and like.
Well, the thing is with Disney now, they do the lightsabers cast light because they're an actual like
they're
the ones
on
you can buy
set,
now. Yeah. Whereas back in the day, they were either CGI or they were like
batons,
some sort of like metal, like a metal rod with
they were
like,
a filament, exactly.
Yeah, with like movie screen tape on them to illuminate light. So, but there was no actual light like from them. So they're much different now. I could get the argument if they're too bright. I could get
for sure.
Yeah.
They're a little bright. Like they're just, it's too much color. It's just like, it's a lot of blue. It's not just like they're blue. They're blue. No, I like in Mandalorian we got to see a lightsaber fight in the rain. You know, like there's stuff I've always wanted to see. I've always wanted to see like a Jedi, like, you know, and bit by bit, decade by decade, I end up seeing some things that I speculated on seeing in the prequels in the 90s. Like I remember speculating with my friend in like 99 being like, oh man, we're gonna see this and this, and it's like every decade or so we get to see one of the things on my list of things I've always wanted to see Star Wars do.
I assume giant Senate meetings were
I mean big boring discussions about trade routes.
Love the government.
Love
lot of government stuff.
I need more government in my fucking Star Wars, dude.
I mean, like, look, the thing was about that, Lucas always warned he was going to do that. Like he
did.
Went all leading up from Return of the Jedi till Phantom Menace. Not to say that he wrote any of that shit. You know, he wrote Phantom Menace over a weekend. Like that was not, you know, planned.
But it's funny. If the original script for Star Wars is like A New Hope Star Wars. The original script he put in.
The Journal of the Wills.
Very much Phantom Menace.
They
turned it into a comic book, but
they did. It's real bad.
It's very much Phantom Menace.
Oh yeah, it's unfiltered Lucas. Like you need like even Lucas's editing is bad. Like you look at if you actually like somebody made a Addy Wan did a cut, which actually I consulted on a little bit. You can if you Google it, but there's a like a fan cut of like the prequel. Oh, that was the prequels. I'm sorry. There's a fan cut of A New Hope. The scene where Luke and Obi-Wan are in the hut and they're talking about his dad. That's originally cut completely differently. You can actually, if you watch the real cut, like the original cut from the movie on your Blu-ray or whatever, you'll see 3PO like move around between shots.
Oh, really? Okay.
Because it's
been so long since I've seen like the original.
Yeah, it's like very blink and you'll miss it. It's a very blink and you'll miss it because it's like it's very subtle. But like that scene is really bland as it was shot. But they cutting it down, like they moved the scenes around and made them talk more interesting. Like it just they repurposed or they just repositioned lines throughout the scene and made it much more engaging. Like that movie was rescued. I know that like it's cliche to say, but like A New Hope, Star Wars, all this shit, it was saved in the edit. Like, but it was the edit, it was the music, it was the special effects, it was the sound.
It was the combination of everything.
It was everything. But like,
everything.
And that's why it's like I hate the prequels because it's like it's just George.
Yeah, it was George and Yes Men who were just like, sure. Whatever you want to do.
But like you needed like adversity and compromise to make good art. Anyway, but that's Star Wars, and that's why we don't talk about it anymore.
I agree.
Even just saying,
it's not fun to talk about it half the time because you get everybody yelling at you.
Whether
you even on both sides, it's like if you don't 100% agree with one side, if you don't agree, they all just yell at you.
Even if we all agreed, it would be a soured conversation because of how reprehensible the response would be from the audience. And it's just like I don't forgive the audience for killing Star Wars for me.
Yeah. That was a tough one. I just the way that because they DM me death threats during this rewatch, which I was like,
really?
If this was getting millions of views and paying some bills for us, that'd be great. This video is flopping.
This nobody cares. Nobody wants to watch it.
It didn't make me any money, so
and now you're yelling at me.
Now you're yelling at me over it.
It's already.
There was this there's this crazy guy that was DMing both me and did I disconnect? Was that?
We're all still. I heard a weird noise.
No, Sal's mic went weird for a second there.
Oh, all right.
But we're good now. We're good.
Weird. All right.
You had like a little like walkie-talkie 80s movies.
I was like, I thought Dan was like playing a video in the background or something.
Dan's pulling a Benny in honor of Benny.
I got bored with this conversation.
You mean in honor of Benny? I'm playing an app game while we do this?
Oh my God. Yeah.
Dan's like, I don't even like Star Wars.
Yeah,
Oh my god.
but I
Well,
do love
yeah,
boobs.
We've been doing
So
a lot
I'm
of
gonna watch
we've been doing a lot of
I
stuff in
mean,
honor of Benny. So we went
doesn't?
to lunch. Me and Dan have been trying to keep we used to do Thursday lunch with Benny, so we've been trying to keep that alive. And
Yeah.
what did we order? We ordered too much stuff or something like that. It was like, yeah, we might as well try these. Like,
Yeah.
we gotta keep it alive.
Oh
At VidCon last year, Benny took me and Brandon Lamas to Morton's Steakhouse, and it was to celebrate that silly little investor guy who made so many promises a year and a half ago that's still working. I don't know, on something, I hope, but I don't know with that guy. But yeah, Benny was very excited and very excited, like this is gonna happen a year and a half ago, and it still hasn't happened today. But he was so excited about it. He took me to Morton's Steakhouse and got us like a flight of whiskeys, a seafood tower, an A5 Wagyu steak, which is it's too buttery, guys. It's way too buttery. It's way too fatty. It's good, but come on.
It's good, but I wouldn't eat it all the time.
So I got drunk out of my mind. Because like it was like a flight of whiskeys, and then he was like, "You got to try this one too." I was like, "Order another drink," and then him and Brandon had to like walk me back to the hotel to like sober me up and like get me upstairs to my room. And about 20 minutes later, somebody texts me, goes, "You got to head to the House of Blues. There's a party going on," and I don't even remember how, but at some point I'm now in the House of Blues. But in honor of that, at VidCon, we got fucked up, dude. I was like, this is for Benny, whiskey, and then it just kept happening, and then it was just I was God. Honoring Benny is just like hurting my body, actually.
What you got to do is you work out too much and then complain you can't figure out why your body hurts. You drink too much and then complain that you can't figure out why you're so hungover. And then
a classic.
It's overindulging. That's how you honor Benny.
Yes, I've heard of that. Yeah,
that guy is overindulgence incarnate.
It's true.
The king.
So what are we doing? So like, what's the plan now?
Yeah, for this, for us.
Yes. That's what that's what the people are here for. I'm like, well,
that is what they're here for.
I'm pulling.
You were
like,
you're asking Dan specifically. Hey, Dan, did you write the 10-step plan yet?
Dan, right here, buddy.
Dan,
what are we doing?
No. The audience is here to find out what we're doing next. Like,
is that what the point of this was? I didn't even know.
It's
Dan was like, we're going to do the podcast. Do you want to be on it? I was like, sure, all right,
yeah. Well, this is this, and
here's what we're doing. We're gonna keep a podcast alive, like a longer Absolute Comics Alive, starring Sal and I assume Andy and Dan.
Whoa, Andy's here today.
Andy's here today. If Andy wants to do a podcast about comics, he can.
I'll be texting Sal. Hey, you wanted to not.
You don't want to.
You wanted to not.
We'll say at least one Comicstorian team member.
There you go. Yeah, I'll say because to be honest, I could show up and let you guys talk about anime and just not know what the hell you're talking about.
But then there'd be two of us doing that.
That's true. Me and Sal are like we're texting each other. Do you have any idea what they're talking about?
Oh my god!
Hey, I've heard of this one.
The numbers are even.
They're texting.
Now.
Did they say Demon Slayer or Devil Slayer? I don't want to get this wrong.
Is there a Devil Slayer too? Do I have to friggin' know that now?
Yeah.
Look, there's a Demon Slayer and there's a Goblin Slayer, but you can't watch Goblin Slayer.
Don't watch.
Can we just real quick? We are going to talk about what we're doing, but I have a real quick thing to anger fans real fast. So I don't know, Hassan. I assume you haven't seen this out, but Hassan, have you ever Attack on Titan? Are you a fan?
Yeah,
do you like it?
All of it.
Okay,
a lot of opinions on it.
It is my wife's favorite anime of all time. She has watched it several times in its entirety.
Wow.
And she has tried to get me to watch it. And I watched a little bit of it.
Yeah.
And then, so she finished it this last time and I was like, can I admit something to you? And she's like, sure, what? I was like, I hate Attack on Titan. I hate it. And she's like, what? Why? And I think I've nailed down why I don't like it. She has watched it so much that whenever they start yelling, because it's a very yelly anime.
Yeah,
it's very yelly.
Very
it would just grate on me. And so it's gotten to the point where she turns it on and I get up and I walk out of the room.
Yeah, not even like a narrative reason.
Yeah, not even a narrative reason. It's the story is because what I saw was, not narrative speaking was not bad. It wasn't maybe my thing, but it wasn't terrible. But the yelling of it, I cannot deal with it.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's my issue is just it's the yelling, but it's always yelling something you would never yell.
Right. Yes. Yeah. Oh my God, he's doing this thing over here right now.
Yeah, where he's like, I will be the greatest that's ever been, and I will honor the death of my father. Like it's always some like emotional catharsis. It's also no one can no one can infer what I'm thinking. They have to know because I'm saying it out loud right now. And I'm like,
He is just
I'm like,
describing
cool,
anime as a
subtlety's
whole.
just yeah.
It is all kind of that.
And I'm like, okay, so subtlety just doesn't exist. And I'm like,
It doesn't. It doesn't.
Yeah.
It's
No,
it's
thanks.
silly medium.
Anyway, that was my.
That's a fair
that was
thing.
I don't
my,
blame you.
I watched it
my
because everybody
admittance.
talked about it. Everyone's like, you have to watch it.
Yeah.
And what I've come to learn about anime, for whatever reason, the animes that everybody loves and like puts up on a crazy pedestal, I fucking hate.
Yeah.
I hate Hunter x Hunter. I watched
Never
all
heard
of
of
Hunter x Hunter. There's one arc that I kind of enjoyed. And the rest of it is just exhausting. It's exhausting. I don't care about
It's
these little boys enough.
exhausting.
I mean,
There's one arc-
Interesting.
There's one arc that just goes on and on and on. It's called the Chimera Ant arc. And it literally, like, half the run of the whole show is this horrible, uninteresting arc with like kind of a cool villain that's basically Cell from Dragon Ball Z. Whatever. It's the whole thing. And then Attack on
I was
Titan-
gonna say, Hudson's gonna
It sounds
anger
like
a lot of fans, but yeah, let's hear it.
I was saying,
mean,
I thought my Attack on Titan thing was going to piss off
here's
people.
my
but-
Attack on Titan thing.
All right.
I'm glad I watched it so I can have an opinion on it. I don't like it. I think
Yeah.
that some of it is
okay.
visually really cool, and there's some parts that I do enjoy.
Sure.
But as a product, I think that a Japanese man commenting on World War II Jews and Germans is not the best thing ever. And I think, especially in
What are you
its
talking
ending,
about, Hudson? What did Japanese have
the way
anything
it
to do
ends,
with
the
World War
way
II?
the writer ends that shit, like the allegory he was going for,
Yeah,
without
yeah, yeah.
spoiling anything. Oh my God, this is a horrible. It is like it is an
That's funny.
anti-Semitic story at its core. It's
Wow.
crazy.
Is
how
it really?
much-
Because I don't know the ending. You know what I'm saying?
I
I've
know
seen,
either.
like I said, yeah,
without,
that's crazy.
I
though.
don't want to spoil.
Yeah,
it for
yeah,
the
don't-
audience that
yeah,
hasn't
yeah,
seen it,
yeah.
But it's like the whole allegory for being a Titan and all that, and it's not even like kind of like, oh, you're inferring it. They visually do Nazi Germany, and they visually make certain people this thing, and then there's just
wow,
like a
alright.
really bad implication about it.
Okay.
That's how I felt when I was watching it, and then I hung out with like my one Jewish friend in Alabama that was like, "Dude, do you feel this about Attack?" I was like, "Oh my God, good.
Okay,
Yeah,
good.
this is
Okay.
good.
bad
I'm glad we
feeling.
all
You
agree
get
that
a
it's
feeling they were
fucked
talking about me. Like,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Is this play about us?" It's like that fucking TikTok audio. Yeah.
that is
And
totally
then
what
in,
that is.
in the interest of angering fans, when
Yes.
Benny said that he liked the Snyderverse, hand to God he was lying, because he would never say anything he liked about it.
No,
he
no,
just
no.
would say,
He-
"I'm a fan of the Snyderverse."
Yeah, I was gonna say, even when we would talk about it, because there were
Yeah.
things I liked. Like I liked
Cool
Henry
visual.
Cavill's portrayal of Man
Yeah,
of Steel.
who doesn't like?
Even
Yeah,
though
It's cool.
the version of Superman wasn't really Superman-y.
Mhm.
If that makes any
Cool
sense.
superhero, but not
Yeah,
Superman.
yeah.
I actually liked Affleck as Batman. I thought that
I liked
he
him
was-
too.
he
I
was
wish he
actually
wasn't a
pretty good
psycho, but
Well,
Yeah.
yeah.
he was good, and I wish he didn't do all the things he does.
Yeah, exactly. He
He
was
plays
good
the
as
role
that
well, they
version of
wrote it.
Batman.
He
Fair.
played Batman well, and I
Well.
would have liked to have seen that. Yeah,
Yeah.
But even not on a stream, Ben would defend the Snyder cut like
he
wouldn't
did. He would
believe.
defend it in conversation. He'd just be like, "Whoa, whoa, 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 whoa!" Like,
And I'd be
let's
like,
not all shit on the Snyderverse.
Yeah, and I'd be
Hey,
like,
hold
you know,
on.
there was a couple of things that were cool, but like overall, they were not good.
Yes.
Like,
Yes.
Yeah.
So a lot of people are forgetting a key factor as to what heavily influenced Benny's opinion of the Snyder Cut.
his terrible taste. Sorry,
They flew him out to the premiere for
It's
the
true.
red carpet.
Uh-huh.
Gillette flew him out for the red carpet for that movie, and they gave us like a ton of Justice League, like Gillette
Merch.
shaving things. I got a ton in my basement. I've never had to buy
I was gonna say, I think I
razor since.
yeah.
And yeah, that was one of the big. That was a big influencing thing for his positive opinion of that, and I can say that as a fact of someone that has been paid to go see something, and it greatly approves your opinion of what you go to see.
Oh yeah, you mean like when you flew out to England to see Sony movies? Like,
Yeah, I mean, England, I got to see Far From Home. That
you
one
got to see Far From Home. That was cool.
That was a good
Damn.
movie too.
Oh,
So
that's
that
so cool.
one.
Well, they were going to send Benny, and then Benny's like, "I don't want to go to England." And you were like,
Yeah.
"I'll go to England.
I was
I
like,
have
oh my
family there."
God.
Wait, what was the other movie that they flew? I knew about that one. What did you go to?
Was there
any
another
other
one?
ones?
Didn't
No, there
Sony
was-
make- there was another Sony movie they made you watch, right?
So it's only been Sony movies. I saw
Okay,
yeah.
Spider-Verse, Far From Home, and then I got to see Venom 2 and
That's right.
Morbius.
There we go.
Well, 2 out of 4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
2 out of 4. I'm
50%.
I mean,
telling
I had
Like
moments.
2.5 out of 4.
I got to
that's a good
talk
way
to
to put
cool
it.
some
people.
of Venom was alright.
Yeah.
Yeah, Carnage was neat looking.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I hate those
My
movies.
version
Tom
of
Hardy
Carnage
talking to
wasn't the
himself
same.
was good. So
He's
Yeah.
fun and silly. Yeah.
So Tom Hardy Venom back and forth bit is literally what I do for a living with the Mickey puppet. It's like
It's true.
it's actually like unrelated to him. I was doing it before he was putting out those movies, but it's my exact bit back and forth.
That may explain why you don't like it, because you're just like, oh my god,
I don't like seeing it come
too much.
There's like
he's like, what kind of person would argue with themselves in the form of a different thing? That's so stupid.
it'd be
Yeah.
crazy.
Anyway,
dude.
TikTok.
Anyways, I gotta pay guys. Look at this horrible thing that's like laying there. That's the Steamboat Willie puppet that we're
Yes,
gonna
I
sell
saw your
eventually.
video.
It's super
Oh.
ugly and deformed, and the team has to work better on it. So to replace that one.
Oh,
It's like,
he was when Steamboat Willie showed up, he was very confident that he was replacing Mickey. I don't know about that. I feel like
it's so fucking ugly.
Is that because he's technically in the public domain?
He's public
Yes.
domain?
Is
So
that why you're going to use that one? Yeah.
we're literally manufacturing. That's like a folk Manus Mickey puppet. That's like a really great one.
Okay.
They had to
Yeah.
Disney pulled the license from them, so they discontinued all their puppets. So we're gonna try and mock up basically exactly that, but in black
Okay.
and white, so that we can sell it. So all my videos will have like a link, because people constantly ask like, where can I buy the puppet? Where can I get this? Where can I get it from?
Yeah.
Make a bunch of money, and then also the comedy of like, fuck you to Disney, like works
Sure.
really well for me. Like that video that Sal's talking about, it was a shit post that I fucked up. If it was 2 seconds longer, I would have gotten paid for it. But by
that
accident,
sucks.
I made
Yeah.
it 59 seconds.
oh
The
my
video did
God.
500,000 views, got 100,000 likes. I was like,
That
this
sucks.
is fucking bullshit, actually.
Yeah.
Whatever.
So the discontinued puppet, I assume you have like a crate of them downstairs just in
I
case.
do. When they discontinued it, it was at the height of my like making money on YouTube.
You're like,
and
I gotta order all of them.
I bought every one that was left.
You just call the manufacturer,
I'm
just send me the rest.
There's a fucking closet in my house, and it has
Just full of
nothing.
Mickey
Mickey Mouse.
puppets.
And they're like sealed in like a plastic bag. It's super creepy and horrible.
I was gonna say it's got serial killer vibes.
It does. Yeah. Thank God I'm
Some
already
people
in a
have skeletons
relationship.
in their closet.
I'm glad my girlfriend watched me make that purchase, because this is something that she like discovered.
Right.
She's just like,
Yeah, she's
I have
like,
to go
hey,
home."
I gotta get a jacket. What is up with all these Mickey
What's
puppets?
up,
You're like,
Mickey
I can
fan?
explain. I can explain. It's
I can do this.
how
it's
you
not
eat.
nearly as weird as you think it is.
Oh
Yeah.
gosh. So yeah, we're selling them, but the mock-up they gave me is fucking horrible. This looks like it looks like a carnival item.
It does.
Honestly-
I was gonna say it has like ring toss.
It's
prize
coming
kind
along.
of vibe.
It's coming
getting
along.
there.
Mickey
It's a little
it's the
fat,
Mickey
yeah.
you ordered from Wish.
It is. It is. It is.
Yeah.
It's
we
got
get
no
it.
neck, and then its hands. You can't get your fingers in like the hands all the way, so they move like he's like
Yeah.
stubbly little hands, which kind of adds to it. So
Steamboat Willie.
yeah, so we're gonna make some jokes and stuff about it as the production goes on. But yeah, that's literally the Venom bit. It's exactly the
Oh,
same
yeah,
bit.
that is,
that-
yeah.
You know, he probably took it from me, frankly.
Yeah, probably.
Tom
Well,
Hardy's.
the reality
He
is,
comes in like first day of Venom shooting, and he's like, "I
You've
had a
got to
brilliant
see this.
idea."
I've got, yeah. I was on the set of Dunkirk and I was watching TikTok, and
Wouldn't that be
Dude.
hilarious though?
right,
It's
Yeah.
not
I
out
mean-
of look.
it's not out of the realm of possibility that those videos get everywhere.
Yeah,
saw
I was
it.
gonna say it's possible he's seen it. Yeah,
That's been like the biggest like reality shifters. A lot of people will meet me and then we'll have conversations, and then like midway through they'll connect the dots as to like why they know me and like who I am or whatever.
Son of a bitch, you're that
And-
Mickey guy.
Yeah, it's like one of the people who was really upset about Benny's death and like sent me a message was Shaquille O'Neal's son, like Shaq's son, who is a big fan of the Mickey videos and a huge fan of Comicstorian. So like he sent
Oh,
me
wow.
like a paragraph
Huh.
about Ben that was really sweet, but just like really random. The amount of celebrities that know about it is like kind of off-putting in like the best way. It's like I hate that this is my my first impression of people that I like
Yep.
obsess over.
Right.
There's the girl from Arcane, Haley Steinfeld.
Steinwell.
I
Sure.
was gonna say
think-
Steinfeld. That's
I think it's
that's Hawkeye.
Steinwell.
Somebody in the chat let us know.
Yeah, isn't that?
My,
It's the same chick, isn't it? Who
I
does
think
Hawkeye?
so. Yeah, it
Or
is. It
plays
is. Haley
Kate
Stein,
Bishop.
it is
Yeah, yeah.
Steinfeld. It is Steinfeld.
Okay.
Steinfeld.
is-
Okay.
There it is. CJ in the chat saying Hollywood Huston's back. Yeah, I'll tell the story and then I'll stop being Hollywood Huston.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know Haley Steinfeld? That's awesome.
My friend Jason Spizak voices Silco in Arcane, and he voices like Wally West and Young Justice and Joker and like Batman Hush and like a bunch of things. Really cool guy.
Nice.
He him and I are really tight, and he was doing the press tour for Arcane, and he was like texting me during that, and then like he was talking to Haley because they were doing the press tour together, and she talked about how she was just like a massive fan of the videos, and I was like, that's literally Spider Gwen. You don't
Right.
understand what that means, man.
That's huge.
Hudson screamed like a girl.
I literally did, dude. I've done this before. But yeah, The Hollywood. I'm never gonna beat the Hollywood Husson
It's
allocation.
a good name, honestly. That should be your
Yeah.
YouTube name.
It's got alliteration.
I was gonna say
positive
that's not
stuff.
bad.
I
Yeah, I
think.
was gonna say
Benny,
Hollywood.
but one last contribution from Benny.
Yeah.
Just him making fun of you.
God, so true. Son of a bitch. He would like want to hear my story, but then the whole time he'd be busy coming up with insults for it
Mhm.
during the
Yeah.
story.
Benny would always be like, "Oh, gosh, I wish I could be like, unknown for like a couple of hours or whatever." And Hudson's like, "Well, let me tell you about all the Hollywood people I know." and text all the
Yeah.
time.
And they're pretty
Yeah.
cool. Yeah.
I mean, they're all right, I guess.
I met James Gunn in a bathroom once. We all know, I said,
Yeah.
Didn't he
watched
ask
my-
you to stop looking over the stall? Was what?
Yeah,
it was? Yeah.
I wash my hands and I'm walking out and it's, "Hi, Mr. Gunn." And that's exactly how I fucking say it. And I walk past him. And then I got to chit chat with him and Chris Pratt, and then it got weird. So
Yeah.
is what it is. Is what it
Right.
is. Chris Pratt made me uncomfortable is not the right word for it. That dude liked me a little too much in in a very strange way.
All right.
I don't know if
Chris was on something that night.
So we're it's a table. It's my friend Jackie. It's James Gunn. It's Chris Pratt. We're all standing out. It's for the day after Guardians 3 came out. There was they built the bar from nowhere and they invited a bunch of people out for it. Friend had me tag along as a +1. So we're hanging out. We're chit chatting about a bunch of stuff. She's talking about Chris Pratt's very famous Parks and Rec blooper, the come on her back joke or whatever.
Yep.
And then James Gunn had never heard of that, so I watched Chris Pratt tell the story to James Gunn, which is very funny. And we chit chat about some other
He's
stuff.
explaining the blooper.
He literally was explaining the blooper to James Gunn. He
Yeah.
retold his Kim Kardashian comeback story.
Yeah.
They go to do press stuff. They had to go take pictures and talk to random other people that were there. So they split off. And then before they do, Chris Pratt's like, "Hey, Husson, can I just get a hug? I think you're just a really cool guy." So I give him a hug, and then that's the end of that interaction. And then we
And
go
his
in
hand just slowly reaches
it
down.
makes
to your
down
ass.
to no. And then we go into the makeshift theater room they have for watch it, and then the cast being Mantis, what is it, James Gunn and Chris come out to say some stuff, and then as they're leaving, Chris Pratt just pointing at me. Walking out, and I'll never have clarity on this. I actually don't want to bump into him again and be like, "Hey, man."
He's like, "No, that was a threat. I wanted you to know."
You never bring it up again. You just let it. You wait for the next one. If
Yeah.
you
Next time you see him, point at him in the same way.
point at him.
Brad,
No.
And then
don't
if you did, you get tackled.
The next time you see him, don't say anything. Don't say hi. Don't say anything.
Yeah.
You just be like,
Yeah,
Bring it
there
in. You go bring it in, Chris.
Bring it in, Mr. Pratt. Oh man,
Mr.
You-
Pratt. He's
you
like,
know,
he
you come up with
actually
a fun
he asked
nickname,
me to call him Mr. Pratt, which
Yeah.
I thought was also
super.
Yeah.
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 He actually asked me to call him Star Lord, just in real life.
I would.
I
to be
could see
honest.
that,
But only in the bathroom.
I would just call him Andy Dwyer the whole time.
Yeah, that
Andy.
is his best role, I think.
That's right,
I think it's up there.
Uh,
Gosh, guys, any other funny Ben stories? Oh yeah, every time I told Benny that
oh
story
wait.
once before, and he was like, "Okay, well, blah 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 blah." I jumped to change the subject.
Love it.
So the play it for the channel, since we veered off
Oh.
of that, which led into these.
Oh yes,
stories.
sorry.
Andy derailed it at the first minute.
Essentially,
I did.
Yo, Andy just honored Benny in the most Benny fucking way possible.
That's what I'm doing. I'm just like, I know we got to talk about stuff, but let me tell this story.
Let's talk about
And then
Attack
it
on
just
Titan.
snowballs.
Keep going and going and
We're
going.
gonna be here an hour and a half later.
Yeah, this doesn't feel
Yep.
different than the old streams. Yeah, so we're gonna keep doing that. We're gonna keep a podcast alive. We'll try to keep it weekly, if not bi-weekly. Just trust that we're working on it. Dan is running all of Comicstorian right now, so there's a lot on the back end, the front end, all of that. So
helping.
we're gonna and Andy's doing a ton.
I'm helping.
I'm like, I'm helping. I'm here too. Jesus
Andy's
Christ.
doing a ton, but we're gonna ease back into stuff. Sal and I are probably going to cover reviews on things that we like. It may not be as frequent, but I think you'll probably get it a little bit quicker. I'll handle the editing on that end. So me and Sal will see a movie and then get on this
Talk
call
about it
record
immediately.
As far as live streams concerned, this has been a lot of fun, but I don't know if it's something we're going to schedule regularly going forward.
Exactly.
So, don't not expect one. Maybe one will come up at some point. We might do something for a special occasion or something.
Yeah.
You know, maybe we'll play Helldivers. Helldivers 2 on here. Who knows?
Right?
I mean, that'd be kind of fun.
I've been
I'm
dying
down.
to play
Never
that
know.
game, dude. I've
Right?
been
So
dying.
I heard it lost 90% of its gamer base. That sucks.
It
That,
Well, and then they
that
just-
PlayStation thing kind of killed it, where they were saying you had to have.
They needed a
PlayStation
big
now.
update immediately after that to engender good faith. But
Yeah.
I mean, even Dan, me and Dan play it all the time, and we haven't played it in probably a week.
yeah.
But I've been
played them
playing
up.
other
Wow.
things. Yeah, you've been playing other stuff. It's been a little bit. Yeah.
I've
No,
just
I
played
don't.
Fortnite. So,
Yeah,
I
I don't know if you
will
guys
say,
are playing.
though,
Yeah,
even with just 10%, it's still got a much higher number than most other
That's
games.
fair.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
it's crazy.
yeah.
It's a
Like,
big deal.
good. Okay.
It's impressive that it can be just 10% of what it was and still be like
Yeah,
in the
Yeah.
upper echelon of Steam
Yeah.
games right now. But
right.
for sure.
yes,
Yeah.
we won't permanently be getting rid of streams. They're just not going to be a weekly
frequent.
schedule.
There'll be a special
like
event.
before. Exactly.
We'll make a big deal of it. We're
And we'll
supposed
try
to
to,
do
like,
a
hype it
video
up.
for this one. I forgot to make it. I didn't forget. I had so many things hit my thing to do.
Yeah,
but
no, we were all busy.
in the future,
Everybody's
we'll
gonna
plan
forget
it.
to call me about it though.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Andy, I have your number. I'll text you, dude. You know, for the longest time, I have Andy's number, but I like wasn't sure it was Andy because he texted me like a weird thing the first time we met.
I was
I think-
drinking.
Yeah,
drinking.
you were
Yeah,
drinking. You guys
yeah.
were all drunk at the hotel while I was still
Yep.
on my flights, like on my way.
Oh, was
Yeah.
that Emerald City?
Emerald City
Emerald
Comic
City,
Con.
yeah.
Okay. I
You were
remember.
sitting there because I was like, "Give me Hudson's number." I'm
Yeah, I remember. I was like,
and I
"Is
was
this
like,
that
"What are
time?"
you doing right now?"
What's going on here? Yeah.
And you were like, "Who is this?" I was like, "Take a guess." But I was literally at the table doing that. while
Chris?
Tyson- I was like, yeah, Chris.
Chris Pratt, is that you?
Pratfall, is that you?
Pratfall.
Oh my god.
I like it.
Oh
My pet
man.
name.
Prattles. What's up, Prattles?
What's up, Prattles?
Prattles. That's my boy, Prattles.
Yeah.
That's his
No,
old
so-
wife, Anna Faris. This is his new wife, Schwarzenegger lady. I don't know.
Yeah,
Oh,
that'd be
no,
awesome.
That's her actual name, Schwarzenegger lady.
That's
Schwarzenegger
literally
lady.
it's what it is.
His-
They're
yeah.
in some hot water because they are demolishing like a historic home to put like a modern house on top of it.
Oh, really?
They've like gotten licensed to like literally destroy like like something that's been in architectural magazines for like 50 plus years.
Just
and they're
go
like,
buy
yeah,
a nice house. Don't
it's
ruin
well,
things.
here's the thing. It's across the street from his mother-in-law. So that's why they're
Move
doing it.
her then.
Move her. Thank you. Yeah, there's so many solutions. Winry, a Winry
Nope,
appearance.
nope. This one's
yet.
Sully. This one's
Oh
No, it's Sully. He sucks.
he sucks. Oh my
Oh,
god.
he's
so
so
fluffy.
fluffy.
Oh,
Look at him. Look
fluffy.
at him.
Oh my gosh.
He's like, "Why are you holding me?"
He says, "What is this? You're talking to the wall,
me
Dad. Are you
down."
crazy, Dad?
Oh, there's the dog in the background.
Oh
I
yeah,
haven't-
Merlin.
I haven't actually seen
Okay.
your dog yet either.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Can you also lift the dog,
And
or is it too
how
big?
long have you had Merlin?
Come on, Merlin.
Yeah, I don't know, Merlin.
I don't
Babu
remember
was
him.
probably hiding under stuff. He's scared of everything these days, honestly.
This is.
Oh, he's so
Oh
cute.
my god.
Yay.
Is he an Aussie? Little Aussie?
Yeah, she's a mini Aussie that
Oh,
is an
Wow.
idiot. And
dude. My
look, she got wonky eyes. Oh, you can't see.
yeah. Oh, there's
Yeah.
so pretty. That's like my dream dog. My best friend had a mini.
She's
Oz
like,
when I
"Why
was
are you
growing up."
holding my
That's
head? Let go."
awesome. Those
Dan's
things are
hair is
forever.
longer than you expect. Oh,
Yeah, Dan
I
looks
guess
like
I should.
effing
I guess I
reveal.
should do this before we finish up.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Please
yeah,
give
Dan
us
looks
the
like
review.
effing Legolas.
Yeah, I was
That's
gonna say.
Oh my
amazing.
god.
Yeah.
He's got like Fabio locks now.
Yeah.
Look at him, dude.
Just incredible.
Holy
That's how
crap.
long my hair is now.
Wow.
It looks so healthy too. Dan.
Yeah.
Like, it looks lively. Wow.
It's
You look good.
I pulled.
Oh,
I mean,
thank you.
I got. I have a
Dustin's like, what are you
mullet now.
doing later?
I got rid of it. Yeah, tell me the product. What kind of products do you have? Oh,
That's
man.
the next stream. It's
I
just
know, it's
Dan and
poking at
Hudson
something.
talking about their hair.
Yeah,
That's
just
been a.
I mean, I
can
can
ongoing.
look at
thing.
my. Oh, man.
yeah.
yeah.
Andy. It's a great cut. It suits
Yeah,
you
yeah.
well.
It's
I mean,
a
it's
clean
it's.
cut.
I can't do long hair, so it's.
Same.
this is like the longest it's gonna get.
The longest I got. I think it was
Yeah.
sometime last year. I had hair to like here. As longest I ever grew it, and my girlfriend said that she just like kind of watched me like slowly like spiral into insanity. It was clearly bothering me, and I was like, I don't know why I'm so fucking angry today. Like I don't know why I'm on
Your
it.
hair.
My hair's like in my fucking ear. I just couldn't deal with it. I couldn't deal with it at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dan and Hudson Beauty Channel next up.
That would be hilarious.
Absolutely.
Sponsored by what? L'Oreal Paris, Vanilla Sassoon. Who cares?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Sounds great. I'm in.
I'm locked in, guys.
I suddenly want to ask Dan on a date in a heterosexual way of
Kind of way. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Me and
And,
me and Sal can do a loser core video.
Yes,
We'll
loser
do
core.
it. Yeah,
Loser
yeah.
Like, dude, the
We,
Gap
dis-
has the
we
same,
discovered apparently that's our style.
Exactly.
And has been
Dude.
forever.
right? Like, here's some top 10 tips. Get 5 of the same shirt, but in 5 different colors. That way you
Right.
get 5 for the week.
Exactly.
Dylan said everybody jacking my style after I left. It's true. Dylan was the guy with long hair. We all
Dylan
had
the long hair.
we all had
everybody
fades. We all had much shorter hair. And
Did
then
you
when
have
Dylan
long
left,
hair? Oh, I
Yeah.
honestly. So my
remember
long
him
hair
having long
story
hair, yeah.
was I just simply COVID happened.
oh,
It was growing out a little bit. My brother was growing his out, and we were like on the same pace. So I was like, oh, you know what? I'll grow out with Pete, and we'll see who can get theirs the longest. Then he eventually cut his, but Benny started growing his out. So it was Benny and me seeing who can grow it out the longest. And then I just started tying it back enough, and I was saving money on haircuts, and so I just kind of never did anything with it. And now it's this.
And then they were like, you should grow your hair out too. And I was like, no, I'm not doing that.
Well, it's not going to happen.
Yeah, it's not happening.
Yeah, that's tough.
You look better with short hair, though.
It's true. It looks clean.
To be fair, I've never actually had long hair, legitimately long hair. So I don't know how I would look.
No,
but I just can't stand it. So I can't let it get to that point. Is what
that's
it is.
fair.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Somebody use an AI beauty app on Andy and send us the pictures on Twitter. I'd like to
make me pretty. I want to know what I would look like pretty.
Make him a pretty girl,
gussy him up,
and then make him a man, but with long hair.
Yeah.
Like
give me like a Fabio kind of.
I think you could I think there's a filter on Tip Top that you could use.
On Tip Top.
I'm calling it that from now on. I don't know shit.
That's fucking great, dude.
Yeah.
Couldn't call it anything different. Couldn't call it anything different.
Yeah. Well, we want to thank you all so much for watching and hanging out with us. And this was an amazing show. I had such a great time hanging out with you guys. Just
same.
So fun. And I'm so thankful to Benny for getting me in the room with you guys, getting to know you guys well, and becoming friends with you guys. It's just been a really great 10 years with Benny, and then with Huss and you. I think we've known each other like 6 months.
Yeah, just about 3 years. about an hour and a half.
Yeah. This is PC post COVID, so the way we measure years is by weeks.
That's true.
So,
that's true. Yeah,
it's fair.
I mean, I've hung out with Hassan for like 6 hours.
Yeah, that means it's been like
yeah.
Good meals, good convention, good walking around.
Right, exactly. No,
good vibes.
Good vibes.
Yeah. But no, chat, thank you so much for coming here. It's good to see the familiar names, familiar faces. Like
it is indeed.
It's become such a part of the routine of like the day-to-day, and that like absolutely has never been the biggest channel on the internet. It probably won't be the next Mr. Beast, but we've always really loved the community.
Not with that attitude.
Sorry, yeah. Next, we trap 5 people in a room.
That's illegal.
One comic.
Make them grow their hair
with only one knife. Wait, no, that's a different channel.
That's where it's going.
Mr. Beast videos are Saw videos. So,
they really are. They really are. Just with
just
money
remove
instead
the
of your
death
life.
element, and I think we can make $1 billion.
Yeah.
Remove the death element.
But yeah, it's remove the murder.
If you take out the murder part, it's not that bad.
You guys know that was like
Benny's, it's just an escape room at that point.
Yeah,
Benny wanted to make Mr. Beast videos once we got the funding, which like was such an insane thing that he would talk about, and I was like, Benny, you don't even like these videos. He goes, I know, but what we're gonna do is we're gonna get a bunch of people. We're gonna go to comic books and we're gonna buy all the comics. Like it didn't make any sense, and he was so ecstatic about every idea.
Yeah,
I don't know. I like as a fan base, I know you guys have been tweeting and texting, DMing, Discord, like all that stuff, and that's been so appreciative. Sorry if any of us have missed out on any replies. We've all been both dealing with it in our own personal.
I haven't replied to most people, so I apologize, and I'm not going to pretend like I can guarantee I will reply to future ones because
I'm not good at replying to people on a normal basis.
It's
my normal day-to-day life.
Yeah, normal.
Regardless, it's appreciated whether we reply or not. It's special to see you guys have the kind of impact that Benny had on us in all of our respective lives. So once again, huge thank you to you guys. We'll see you on the channel. We're not going anywhere. We're just we're gonna be a little bit more intentional with what goes up on the channel. We'll have a goddamn good time doing it. Much love to the regulars, much hate to those other regulars that I don't like. You know who I'm talking about.
You know who you are.
In honor of Benny, fuck you to the ones who are crazy. The ones who comment the serial hate thing on every video that I'm in. Dan knows what I'm talking about. Fuck them.
Yeah.
If I may,
please.
I feel if we're ending it here,
we are.
I think we should all do a crack a cocoon.
Oh,
love it. Yes.
One last crack a cocoon.
Do you want to do it together or individually?
I kind of like us all doing it once. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So we do like a 1, 2, 3.
Crack.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Ready.
All right.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3. Crack a boom.
All right.
Oh, that's right. I got to compliment before we go. Hassan, your hair is looking great. Your beard's looking fantastic.
Thank you.
Have you lost weight?
A little bit.
You're looking good. You're looking
75 hard. We're working out every day.
Have a great day, guys.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.